And we are actually live right now. Welcome to another edition of Untitled. This is episode 68. We are, without question, the best show, best podcast you probably never heard of, which is a damn shame. And that's my fault. It's my fault. I'll take responsibility for that. But it's all good. I'm here for the fellas. I provide a platform. My name is R. Jones. I'm your host slash moderator. And joining me, as always, we have my boy, formerly the BX, now residing in Carolina, Dominic, how you doing, brother?
All good. All right, let's roll, baby.
Let's roll. Also joining me, my man, my brother with the black. You know, I go by Angus Black sometimes. My man Ronan is here. Ronan, what's going on? How you feeling, brother?
Good, I'm good, man.
Good to have you on as well. And also
All
joining
right.
us early, pardon me, not at the bowling alley. It's
He's
Reggie.
somewhere.
What's going on, Reg? Yeah, he's always somewhere.
He's somewhere.
I got to get Chinese food for the kids. Now I'm getting a phone call. You know what? I'm gonna check back in when I get to the house, y'all.
Good Lord. All right, I'll see you later, Reg. Holy crap. He's hilarious.
My
So
God.
with that, he's hilarious. With that being said, is he calling? Wait, I thought he was gonna. Let me bring him back in if I can. I had to mute your mic for a second. I thought you had to go.
Yeah, I thought he said he was going to go home and then come back.
Oh, there he is. Now he's gone. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into this. I got some rapid fire shit I need to get off before we start with our real topic. One, what's up with Aaron Rodgers?
He's a flake.
This guy, you know what, Ronan? I agree 100%. I don't understand what the holdup is. Either you're gonna sign with Pittsburgh. I don't know if they signed anybody else. I don't really believe they did. But again, you only left with one option, pretty much, in my eyes, and that's Pittsburgh. I don't know what the delay is. Are you just trying to decide if you're going to retire from football, which I think you should at this point? Because this whole diva waiting game, it's not fun anymore. It's not cute anymore. You understand? Either you're going to get your ass on the field, or that's it, call it a career, and that's it. I'm just so tired of this shit with him. I really am. You know, and I had to just like kind of address this briefly before we get really into the meat of our other topics.
He is what he is. All right? He's like us sitting here complaining about how technical fouls are called in the NBA.
Right.
He is what he is. He's been doing this for how long? You know, I'll say this. We all know it's his last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit what he does this year. This is his last year. So let him have his fun for one last rodeo. Who cares, man? This guy's a pain in the ass. He's a diva. Man,
He is. There's no question about it.
Yeah. Kick
Hey,
rocks.
you know what? And also we have that Steve is here. Steve, welcome. Your mic is live as well. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for your support as well, brother.
Thank you for inviting me, man. No problem.
Of course, man. Yo, you know what? Let me just say something about this Aaron Rodgers situation. I was willing to give him a pass only because when he had that ACL surgery, they say even though he played the next season, following season, they say it takes 2 years to get fully back. I don't know how true this is. That's what they say. 2 years, you're more closer to 100% than you are after compared to a year. So I was willing to give him a chance because the man is talented, even at his age. He didn't really have a bad year statistically. You know what I'm saying? Did it lead to wins? Not a lot. I get that. But he didn't have too bad a year. I was willing to give him a chance. Say, yo, maybe he's closer to 100%. Maybe he could be productive. But this whole waiting game turned me off. Yeah, it just turned me against him. And Mr. Live is live right now as well. Welcome to the show, brother. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, y'all?
Yo, what's up?
Bro,
Bro, he was kind of laughing, so I must have struck something.
No, I was laughing.
I'm just saying, it wasn't. I'm kind of ashamed to say this. I actually had hope for the guy. You know what I'm saying? I actually had hope for it. I was like, okay, he's going to sign with Pittsburgh. He's going to be more close to 100% and whatnot. And they're pretty talented themselves. And I thought that it would work out for that one final year. But again, that whole waiting shit turned me off completely. Turned me off. Anybody else?
What y'all talking about?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers and his bullshit.
I mean, I told y'all I'm trying to get back in. You know what I'm saying? This year off a enormous boycott that I had on the NFL, but
Okay.
the Jets was my squad, and what I've been hearing about Aaron Rodgers, man, is it's bad business. So it's like, what is he gonna do? Something else, right? Is he gonna turn into cheesehead? You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers someplace else.
Right.
You know, early cheesehead, right? Because he ain't, according to a lot of cats I know, he ain't been doing shit. He wasn't doing shit there. So,
Mm.
you know, um, again, man, he was the one that made me go, I need to watch football again. You know what I'm saying? Because the Jets had picked him up again. This is me not seeing him since he might have been there for like his first 2 years. That's probably when I went for his first 2 years there is might have when I started boycotting. So all I knew was Aaron Rodgers being, prolific passer, this and that and the third. So I just want the Jets to be good. That's all. And later for that deal, so especially the kind of shit that I've been hearing him. That's right, it's sure, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what I've been hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want him to succeed no place unless it's one of y'all teams. And,
Exactly.
yeah, so,
And we also got the infamous is here live as well. I gotta just make sure he knows his mic is live. Sorry about that, Miss Live.
no doubt. Is that Steve? That's Big Azul over there? What I'm talking about. What I'm talking about.
Checking in from Keto, man. Had to check in with you guys, man. Had to check in with you
Thank
guys.
you,
I have
man.
no idea what you guys are talking about. What's going on with Aaron Rodgers? He signed somewhere? What happened?
Nah, that's what I'm saying. It's
That's
this whole
the
thing.
problem.
That's the problem. It's like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, again, is there a lot of opportunities that's open for a quarterback? Excuse me, or it's just Pittsburgh?
So he's about to sign with Pittsburgh, or he didn't sign with Pittsburgh? I don't
He
know.
didn't sign, but I'm saying he should sign with them, if anything.
Oh, okay. I have no idea. I have no idea what the fuck is going on in this
Nah,
game.
I feel you, man. Because again, you had the Giants, you had somebody else, you had Pittsburgh. Those other organizations filled their needs at quarterback. I don't know how good this is going to turn out, but I'm just saying, if there's one opportunity and you're out there, what is the holdup? Stop with this clown shit. It's clownish to me.
I have no idea. I'm gonna say this one now. I have no idea. I'm usually good with free agency shit, but I just been out of the loop, man.
It's understandable, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna fall back on that.
I'm gonna say like
Okay,
this.
okay.
I'm gonna say like this: if Aaron Rodgers is not repeating the same that Brett Favre did, what was it, like 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. The only thing is that at least Favre did it better.
Right.
That's all I can say. He had a better run with the Jets, and then, of course, he had a better run with the Vikings all the way to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers, unfortunately, bad luck, bad timing, bad situations. And you're absolutely right, R. Why didn't he just go to the Giants and say, "I'll take $1 million, $2 million, or something like that. I'll groom your next quarterback and call it a day."
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, that's easy pickings, and that way you don't even have to go anywhere. You're playing in the same building.
Right.
The practice facilities.
There's a problem with that, Ev. The Giants gotta want Aaron Rodgers, though.
Right, exactly.
I'm sure. I'm sure that they would entertain it if like that was a possibility. But I don't even think that was even a possibility, because I don't think Aaron Rodgers has made up his. I think he's worse than Brett Favre, because at least Brett Favre was letting us know he's retired, unretired. Aaron Rodgers, he hasn't told us shit.
No. And go ahead, Dom.
I will say this. I've tried to get back into football, like Live said, but the Giants didn't bluff with him, didn't do nothing. And then all of a sudden you woke up one day, the Giants had 2 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
What's that tell you about his cachet, pull?
Still got 0 gone. Two quarterbacks mean 0 in the NFL.
No, what I'm getting at, Steve, is like just the position. They had no quarterback. You went to bed one day, they had 2 quarterbacks, and Aaron Rodgers is still text messaging. What's that guy's name?
So
The
who the
big guy
Pittsburgh?
with the
Who's the quarterback? Who's quarterbacking in Pittsburgh now? Then
nobody
who's
that I
signed?
know of.
Isn't that guy Pickett still there?
Yeah,
in that organization?
the only one left.
He went to Philadelphia.
Oh, he went to Philly. Okay, my bad. Okay,
He went there in trade during the season last season.
Okay. So now they got no quarterback. That's again ridiculous.
Because I'm assuming that guy that the Vikings have, they're willing to roll the dice with him. So that off.
McCarthy.
Who the Vikings got?
McCarthy.
Oh yeah. He's coming
McCarthy.
He's coming. Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're willing to roll the dice. Again, guys, I think what they're getting at, Steve, is the pond is almost empty, and this guy's swimming in there with no water. Where you going, man?
He's going somewhere. He's still better than 17 starting quarterbacks in the league. He's still better than 17 to 18. Like a lot of the starting quarterbacks are not good.
Right. But how many people want to deal with that Aaron Rodgers?
The mentality.
And on a 17 team,
That's who you are. Like Pittsburgh probably wouldn't need to tolerate. They got 6 Super Bowl rings, but if you're talking about a franchise who ain't win nothing, then they're going to have to do some bargaining. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the franchise's situation.
So I guess the better question would be, what team out there that you think is a contender that would want him? I think the contenders are pretty squared away at quarterback.
Probably.
Contenders.
I know.
Contenders are, but we say this with Aaron Rodgers. Like the Giants, not a good fit for Aaron Rodgers because they don't have a good offensive line. So at his age, why would I go play for the Giants? I got a bad offensive line. He had a bad offensive line last year with the Jets. So, I mean, with Pittsburgh, I don't know. I mean, another aspect with Pittsburgh is that this whole thing with Mike Tomlin, but they feel as if, he may have not wanted that he's past his expiration date. The players might have tuned out on him or something like that. And the other aspect, like I said earlier, man, like Aaron Rodgers is just Aaron Rodgers. He's an asshole. Just like Brett Favre was an asshole. He's they don't exist anymore, but he's like a hippie. But he's an asshole. He's just waiting. I think he'll end up in Pittsburgh. But
could we say that Tomlin ain't want to deal with his bullshit? Because I mean, Tomlin's the institution on himself, right? Right. So why he gonna bring in him when especially if they can't click together, right? Because if this cat want to be a diva, like he just left somebody that was the anti diva in Sierra husband. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he wants. He wants somebody that can win, but he don't want nobody like that's gonna be on some, my entourage and I'm still the greatest passer in the game right now, and that's my thought. That's my thought.
Okay.
With him in Pittsburgh.
It would be weird that why haven't the Steelers, who haven't won a playoff game since Moses parted the Red Sea, you would think they'd be more inclined to try to. What do y'all always say about Knicks coaching kick the tires?
Right.
Yeah. I would think the Steelers would have kicked the tires, knowing what their playoff history has been the last, 7-8 years that they had a playoff win. 2018, I think, 18, 16.
It's crazy.
So Steelers ain't always been going to the playoffs with Tomlin?
Yeah, they have, but they ain't won one since I think it's 18 or 16.
Oh, one. They've been there, but they didn't get out there.
A playoff game, not second or third round exit. A playoff. They ain't won a playoff game. I'm almost sure 2018.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, so
yeah, I'd have kicked the Michelin Man on him a long time ago. Kicked him right in the ass.
Traded for Metcalf. They need a quarterback. You don't trade for a quarterback. A wide receiver. Give him that extension, and not have someone to throw the ball to him and Pickens.
Mhm.
So
Wow. And to answer the question, who's their quarterback in Pittsburgh is Mason Rudolph, by the way.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. Thank you, Steve.
son, I ain't been in it in a minute, man. That sound like somebody's fifth son. Like,
Well,
Exactly.
anyway.
Anyway, moving on. Let's. What happened to Zion, man? I'm gonna switch lanes for a second. What happened to Zion? Zion Williamson, man.
fucking with them blow up dogs, man.
Well, yo,
He's still fucking with them BBL chicks. What's
Yeah,
going on?
fine.
See, this guy don't stop, man.
Yo, it's a picture. It's a picture out there. Yo, it looked, man.
yo,
Like I rarely see pictures of NBA players and anybody on the side, but they got this one picture with him, and the girl is, I swear, a blow up doll. She's curviest, she's sexy, and she the same one that done wild down. So I'm like, that's three women of the same kind of ilk. And the same posterity that you messing around and getting in trouble with. Be like how, I'm sorry, y'all. How good is the pussy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, come on.
Hey,
I think we go. I can answer this. I think we all been there. We were all 22, 24-year-old men at one point in our testosterone levels. When you're a pro athlete at his level and making millions, it's kind of hard to turn on the pussy at his age. It's easy for us to kind of say, we kind of know what it is. We know what the love box does.
right.
But when you're that age and you're not being coached up and guided, you probably didn't get the Deion Sanders, hey, bringing in real hoes to the fucking seminar, be like, hey man, these are real hoes. Watch out for them. If you ain't getting that, if you're not getting that pep talk, look at Anthony Edwards and all the shit he going through. I mean, not to throw out, it's just it's all interrelated. Zion Williams fucking with these BBL chicks who are target. These guys are targets. Let's just keep it a buck. They're targets.
I will say
and they're
this.
horny. You know what I'm saying? All that exercising and that training that gets you horny, man. That builds up your testosterone. You know what I mean? That's
and they wasn't getting none in like junior high school.
We don't went left real early on.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
I will say this. Steve brings up a good point that I always used to bring up to him and Av. Because believe it or not, years ago, as much as I rag him now, the IQ of a McDonald's bagel, I used to pull for Towns. And people would say, oh, him and Tibbs didn't get along. And I used to always say, hey, the guy was 22 years old. He was a kid. Let's let bygones be bygones. We should try to go get this Karl Anthony Towns guy. I think he'll fit in, blah, blah, blah. So now I can't reverse my take and say, but that being said, Karl Anthony Towns wasn't going through this nonsense. Karl Anthony Towns' nonsense was on the court. This guy is just, I mean, God bless him, man. I said this earlier about talking about young people. This is uncharted territory in some ways because this guy just went through this. This girl was threatening to do a left eye and burn his house down.
Exactly.
And you just keep going in the same swamp. I do remember this, guys. Both of y'all shows. I said, man, I don't know if New Orleans is going to be a good fit for this guy because there might be too much shit to do, and let alone the food, the good food, and
Marty
so Marty, all that. So far, I got him right on tap. And you know what? At the rate he's going, guys, I don't know where does he go after this? Where does he go? He got a good contract with the Pelicans, but where does he go after this with the injuries, the issues? Could this be, the early light at the end of the tunnel for this young man?
Yep.
If he were, I don't know, if he had a parent, like a dad, a mom, to kind of like guide him or, grab him by the ears, or maybe an uncle or somebody, some kind of an old head in his life to kind of guide him. So look, all right, you made this mistake once, you made this mistake twice. Hope you learn from this mistake. When you continue to repeat the mistake over and over again, even though, Steve brings up a good point. We were all 22, 24, 26. We were never millionaires, but but I'm sure that if we all had that opportunity, we would partake. But pretty sure that most of us have been to a sex education class, have been through high school, college, military, whatever the case may be, and a talk, not just the birds and the bees, but the talk of this is what you got to watch out for when you are in the position that you are. And I think Steve, I think it was you who said it. Yes, he's a target, but he's been a target since when? Since junior high school.
Yeah.
And so at some point, someone should have grabbed this dude by the ear, pulled him to the side, and had this talk. So, yo, you're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna have a lot of opportunities, but you have to be responsible. And in the position that he's in right now, same thing with John Morant with with the gun shit. I'm just saying, you just have to learn that there is a. What is it that Chris Rock says? I'm not gonna act this way in front of white people. Well, when the fuck is he gonna freaking learn this shit too?
But I thought the NBA had these seminars with these guys, like the NFL. They bring in these people, they sit and talk. I don't think it's about the education, guys. I think it's something between the two ears called your brain that just ain't picking up. They're not picking up what people are putting down. That's an old saying. You heard your parents tell you that. You're just not picking up what I'm putting down. And you know what? The older, it's ironic because normally the older you get, the wiser you get. But I think with these guys, the older they get and the more they get away with it, it just the snowball just keeps on going. And now you got an avalanche, and now you're out of control. The guy's making $40 million a year. What are we going to tell him?
Give me some money.
And you know, with these guaranteed contracts, you know, God bless these guys. They hit pay dirt with these CBAs and all this.
My question: he's injured now or something because he's out for the year, or what's going on when you said what happened with him? So when you said what happened with Zion, in what context?
With the new pitcher and the new girl going after
you know what?
him.
Not just that, but also him being the next big thing, so to speak, the face of the NBA and whatnot. Because if you remember, during that draft, they was hyping him up big time. Yeah. I gotta be honest with you. I honestly never thought that this guy was gonna be that big of a deal. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because to me, he plays, and I've said this before, he plays very violently.
Yeah.
You understand? Right. And at his weight as well was no good for him. That type of play was no good for him. And I felt that if he continued that way, he wouldn't last long in the league. So you have that what do I want to say? You have that on you already, you know, and the whole potential of you being the next big thing in the NBA. And now you're adding on more shit, you know what I'm saying, to your brand with these females. You know what I mean? It's too much, man.
See, my thing is like all of us remember when we first felt fire, right? Everybody, you might not have remembered the first time, but you remember when you stopped fucking with it, right? Right. So my thing is like, how many times do you got to get burnt? And I mean, in his shit, I mean, literally, like these chicks have already cost you millions of dollars, right? How many times you got to go through that scenario to be like, listen, and again, you go back to the NBA and the mentorships and stuff like that. That's those mandatory meetings to make sure that they can publicly say, we take these very men and make them millionaires, and we give them classes and responsibility, and we do our part in making them aware of the nightmares of the real world. You know what I'm saying? Just so they won't point to the NBA as being exploitive of young people. At the same time, you got to go back to what Av was saying, where it's like, maybe you guys need to go further and be like, listen, you need to hire a reportive mentor, right? Somebody that reports to the NBA about your especially if you're a franchise player like him, right? I know that might be invasive, but at 19, 20, 21, 22, if your mother is not there beside you, counting your money, making sure, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look at Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, he was living with his mom. It's like the first check. The The whole thing, his mom stayed with him. Like he
Right.
didn't let she didn't let nothing happen to him. You know what I'm saying? Curry had his father around. You know what I'm saying? It's all of these young men sitting there with mentors, and then you see, you know what I'm saying? It's the league. I believe they need to do a little bit more.
In the world we live in now, live with somebody doing that, again, in the world we live in now, where people will get mad if you say something wrong. Can you imagine somebody trying to force a what do they call that when you go to school and they have the who goes to the school parties? What do they call them?
Chaperone.
Chaperone. You're going to tell a grown man you have to, in this world, in the society we live in today, they'd be burning bridges. But again, when and I say this all the time, it's just like the game. We could blame the coach, we could blame the hot dog vendor, but I'm a firm believer, maybe it's because of my background, that everybody has an individual task in life.
Right.
Your individual task in life, sooner or later, has to be your job, your money, your life. These are individual tasks. No chaperone, no NBA team, no spook is going to do this for you. Sooner or later, you got to realize there's a reason I'm in this position. And when you can't accept that no more, then here's where the NBA should step in and say, you know what? You got to go. You're a detriment to our brand, because we always talk about brand.
Right, but
detriment to our brand. You got to go.
Well, that's
after you done exploited that young man from 12 years old, from rec league.
But again, live. I don't want to keep saying it. There comes a time we all been there. Like Steve said, we were all 22, but then we were all 24. We were all 26. We were all 28. Now we're all.
12. I was pumping gas at 12. I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, what I'm saying is when you have a billion, $1 trillion corporation, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, like this. Deion Sanders makes them brothers save 40% of their NIL money, or you can't play for them. As simple as that. Now, whatever, and in his structure, there are mentorships and guidances and all that. Now, when you leave me, you could have spent 60% of your shit, but when you leave me, you got 40% of your money in your pocket and a college education. That's him being responsible for that young man. And to your point, after that, you could fuck your money up on all the blow up doors you want to after you leave me. But if you're 21, if you're 20, and you just made $10 million on without jumping out of high school, you understand what I'm saying? Not having a fucking summer job, then somewhere in there needs to be a responsibility there. And I agree with you, Don, and I agree with everybody else that because again, I grew up with my parents not taking care of me, so we all fend for our fucking self, but that's not what's happening here. These young men are entering a situation where you could say it or not, they're there because of their God-given physical talents and how hard they work to get there.
Yes.
So live, I think you make great points, live. It is up to the individual at the end of the day. Sure. So I don't know. I would assume that the Pelicans in every franchise in professional sports have, well, not even just the franchise, but each player has an agent. Sometimes these agents are kind of like managers. Yeah. So I don't want to assume that he's not getting that help. He's ignoring it, but I need to know more information. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the individual. But I just wanted to say one quick thing, and I'll move on, about NBA players. And when I was saying about we were all 23, 24 years old, think about it like this, Av. You had a tough double overtime game in Houston. You're on the road. You're the Pelicans. You're in Houston. And you leave the game, the cameras are off, you take your showers, you take the team bus back to the hotel. You get back to that hotel, this is what they don't show you on TV. All the hoes are ready. You had a long overtime game. You probably bummed out. You got Chocha right at your fucking hotel right there. Don't thrown at you.
Or that.
And that's the type of shit those type of
Or
players
that.
or people go through every day that the average everyday person don't go through. These guys got. I'm gonna just straight up. We can say I don't want to get too vulgar.
No,
They got
go ahead.
Chocha. They got
Yeah.
Chocha literally waiting in the team hotel when they get back.
Bro,
Literally.
facts.
Uber.
That's a
And,
fact.
and we're talking about a 24-year-old to say no. And we're talking about
Yeah.
quote unquote baddies. Like let's
Yeah.
keep it a buck.
I've
Niggas,
seen
Nothing
it.
but
they
good.
fucking,
I've
man.
seen
Let's
what-
keep it a
and
buck.
I-
They
and I have
fucking,
seen
they
it.
fucking on site. They
I've
fucking on
seen
site,
it, and
dog.
it starts early. It starts early because I've seen this. I used to work at Radio City Music Hall when they had the NFL draft and all that stuff. The drafts there,
Mhm, mhm,
yo,
mhm.
they used to bring them by the truckloads in,
Wow.
trying
Wow.
to catch a come up. I seen it,
Wow.
and I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
I've been to 4 NBA All-Star weekends in my younger
Okay.
days. Like
Ooh.
like the events, like the festivities. I'm
Mhm.
telling you, they are out there. They're deep. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. So
Nah.
I know these dudes. It's easy for us to say we got self-control at our older middle age. Some of us older. But I'm telling you, these dudes, they don't know no better. And if you don't have those parameters like Live set in place, you're fucked. Look at what's going on with Anthony Edwards. Or what's the other dude? Jalen Green. All these other dudes.
Jalen Green got hit with the okey doke.
That's what I'm saying.
That's some
But
bullshit.
again, guys,
you already know shit out in your pockets, and you still went with him.
But where do we put the bar, guys? I mean, is it 22, 24, 26, or when he's out the
It's,
league,
it's individual choice. It's all individual choice. Either you figure, either you know it or you don't.
Because
some people have the parameters. I know somebody was talking about another NBA player. Wendell Carter is another one that was like that. When he got drafted out of Duke, his parents moved with him to Chicago. Like they left, I think they were living in Atlanta or Georgia or something like that. So when he got drafted, the whole family, not the family, but the parents literally got up and moved with him into Chicago. And I think they're living with him now in Orlando. Now he's in Orlando. Some people have the parameters, some people don't. It's just that simple.
Kemba Walker did the same thing here when he came to Charlotte. I think his mother lived with him for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on, Kemba Walker from the Bronx.
I understand that that's a blessing. And again, if we ain't got it in our vicinity, we don't have it. Like again, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't have it. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, and again, what you hear me talking is the NBA. I believe not taking enough, not being invasive enough. You know what I'm saying? Not taking enough responsibility with these cats. In the mentor department, you know, you again to Dom's point, there's only so much you could tell somebody or advise somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they got programs in the NBA that we don't even know about. And the Steve point, you know, you're not going to avoid you're going to be in the trailer with the trailer loader. You gonna be in there, right? It's gonna happen.
I'm done.
So,
Can I have the final word before we move on to the next topic?
For sure.
All right. Remember a few years ago when we had just finished a 17-win season and we were, in line for the #1 pick, and we were about to pick up Zion Williamson. And at that same time, we were going to also sign Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. We had that plan, and none of us here. Then the Knicks and us Knicks fans all dodged an enormous bullet there.
Right.
Woo! I thought a Scud missile. We dodged the Scud.
I never thought 17 wins could feel so good.
Exactly.
I gotta say one more thing. There's another variable for the Zion Williamson situation and NBA players like that. Live, I think you may understand this. Unfortunately, this is what I'm going to say. I'll be real quick. Unfortunately, we live in an era that sometimes these athletes, their manhood or their reputation could be put on blast. Like, for instance, if Zion Williamson turned down some chocha from some chick, this chick probably could air him out with some DMs publicly. So there's a lot of blowing up spots that happen in the social media era where, unfortunately, the women will run the social media. Zion Williamson was in my DMs and he ain't want to hit this. And now he gonna look. He got to deal with this bullshit.
That's what the girl
Huh?
did. The first girl did to him.
But he was
Like,
hitting
You see
it,
what I'm
and
saying?
she was
You got
still
that. You
talking.
got that angle going too. That's what I'm saying. That you have that angle going too. You dudes gotta watch who they fuck with in public because now the chicks could put them on blast, and that has nothing to do with his play on the court.
Let me take this time to bring in the Bishop is jail
Oh no!
live as well.
Oh, my head hurts already.
Unhinged.
What's going on?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir, Bishop. Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, my volume is really low.
You
Oh,
sound
for real?
you sound great. No homo.
Yeah.
Or no
Yeah,
Diddy.
pause, exactly.
You know I
No
can't
Diddy.
stand your ass, Bishop.
No Diddy. Yeah, I'm gonna log out and try to log back in.
You
Again?
sound great, Bishop.
Yeah,
We hear you
before,
perfectly.
nah, you guys sound really muffled to me.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Okay.
But before I
Q-tips,
log out
Q-tips,
and
that'll help.
log back, huh?
Q-tips, that'll help.
He can't. Oh, you look, my arch enemy. Though he is my best friend. I mean, I can't deny.
Nah,
it.
no doubt.
We do this shit just for y'all. We really love each other.
It wouldn't seem like it. It wouldn't seem like
Oh,
it.
we do, man. I told you the story, man. He's a character, man. When you see him in person, he's a
For
character.
sure. All right, let me see. Is it better now, Bishop?
Now he can't hear us at all.
Can you hear me?
You're him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it better? Your audio level's better? I guess not.
That's a
I,
sign, Bishop.
I keep telling guys, listen, stop with this two cans and the string shit. Come
Oh,
on.
wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. You know what though? Not to get off subject, but since we got most of the people present, this is why me and you come on at 5 to 8.
Right.
It ain't a coincidence. It ain't like we just want to chat for a minute.
Right.
You were saying, I got a little hesitation. Looks good. I'm not saying everybody should log on 5 minutes early, but
right.
It gives R a chance to
every time for our show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's try him again. Let's see. I see him. Bishop, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Can you see us?
Do we sound muffled, Bish?
No. You're
Okay.
loud and clear. Loud and clear.
We want you to hear.
Exactly.
Copy that.
Now, you was gonna say something before you logged out. What were you gonna say, sir?
Oh yeah, I was. What I wanted to say, Anthony Edwards' pullout game is trash.
Where are we going?
That nigga pullout game is garbage.
Oh Lord!
He got his jump shot. His jump shot is cool. He can shoot from the 3-point line. He go to the basket hard. His pullout game is garbage. So.
Garbage.
Can't pull out.
Bishop, do you realize when you couldn't hear us, I was praising you, and then you come on with this shit?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done with y'all, man.
And after he got on the internet talking about ain't none of these chicks getting none of his money.
Right, first of all,
we'll see.
It don't work like that. It don't work like that. He gonna get got.
No,
he gonna get got.
He paying up front. He paying this child support up front.
Depending on the state, they're gonna consider it they're gonna consider it a gift. So he gonna pay more. Watch.
Yeah, they could go to court and get upward adjustments and get a new contract. They're entitled to that. In most of these states is 18 years, but in New York it's 21.
See, and that's like a baby making is a business on that end.
Yes, it is.
Like how you don't know
yes,
already.
Yes, sir.
Well, the thing is, the guys that are getting caught out there, like Anthony Edwards, Zion, DeAndre Ayton, like them dudes like that. All them dudes is like ugly, and it's probably like the only time that they could get like banging chicks. It's like in any other walk of life, these dudes would not.
That nigga, that Bishop is not lying, kid. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
they wasn't getting no play.
Yeah.
Like junior high school, most of high school.
No, Zion Williamson, no Diddy, but Like some of these dudes is just like,
He looked like a Gray Hulk. He looked like a Gray Hulk. I know you know who I'm talking about, Dom. He's like Zion Williams looked like the Gray Hulk.
Yeah,
Damn.
He's a, and you know what though? The weird thing is, again, to Bishop's no Diddy, the Green kid is not a horrible looking dude. No homo, no Diddy.
Yo,
but his situation is even crazier. This guy's dating a girl almost my age.
Right.
He's got an Oedipus complex. He's got an Oedipus complex. He loves his, he got a.
Oh, even with PJ Washington, same shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
but the same
guy,
right? Same chick.
I will say this. You remember the guy used to play baseball, I think for the Dodgers, Kemp.
Oh, Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp.
Steve Kemp. No, Matt Kemp.
Yeah, remember? Y'all remember what his mother said?
Matt Kemp.
Y'all remember what his mother did when he was supposedly, him and Rihanna had eyes for each other? Y'all probably don't even remember that story, do you?
Nah.
His mother said, back up. Get your ass in gear and backed up. And you never heard about him and Rihanna again.
Wow.
And you know what? Come to find out, she wasn't that kind of chick. I mean, to be honest, but his mother was so, because remember, Kemp got one of those good contracts back then, especially in baseball.
Right.
His mother jumped right in and was like, nah, Steve, backed up. No,
Dom, live. You guys gonna have to fill me in because I saw this about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It was the quarterback from the Commanders. What's his name?
Daniels.
Daniels.
Yeah.
There was like a video image, like his mother was in between.
Yeah.
Him and is it Juju Watkins from the
Juju
USC?
Watkins, yeah.
So what happened with that? What happened with? I saw there was a little bit of. I didn't really read into it, but was that like a shoot your shot situation and the mom shut it down? What was that about?
That's what it looked like. I mean,
it was basically her sitting there looking like him and her sitting there looking like, you know, he ha tee, right? Looking like there was a real vibe and a real chemistry going on with him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no like this my homie, whatever. Looked like she was shooting her shot real crazy and he was receiving it. Pause, because that sound real backwards with a chick. You know what I'm saying? You know, mom seen that shit and dropped her funky ass right in the middle of them and split them apart, and you could see Juju's face looking fucked up. And I'm like, Mom, you gotta beat it. You gotta get them.
But that goes back to our point, right? Like there's parameters. Like some people have parents that gets in the middle of it. I mean, for him in that situation, it may not look good as far as him feeling those vibes from her, but that's the point we were saying about some of these players have it, so like he did, and the other players unfortunately don't.
As soon as that mom get her tool game right, she gonna be like, because she go into the practices, going to the games with like hooker boots on and like
but like you saw that, right?
Jersey dresses. I'm like, who's this joint right here? And then I looked at her, who's this joint? I looked at her face. I was like, oh.
And see to Bishop's point, that's what happened. Remember, guys, I don't know if me and Bishop only want to see this, but after her getting in between them, now they start showing pictures of her, like Bishop said, she's on the field, she got the little short ass. What do they call the commanders? The commander uniform on and the boots, and so now you're scratching your head like, damn, you blocking, but you look like you're one of the people Steve was talking about that they bring to the All-Star game. Come on, what? And again, Juju Watkins ain't no. She's probably making more NIL money than some guys in the NBA.
Yeah.
So she's not blocking to protect him. Like it's like he wasn't sitting next to one.
Yeah,
she wasn't protecting him against one of the girls Steve was talking about.
She's trying to get her game on.
Exactly. Come on now.
She's trying to get her game on. It's like, let me catch one of your teammates slipping.
Y'all did see the pictures. Y'all saw the pictures of her, right?
Yeah, I saw.
I know, I did too. I'm asking these guys. They look
no, the mom.
Daniel's mother.
Yeah. No. She looked like the Wicked Witch of the West. She looked like she looked like the straight cut though. Like her whole shit is like, it's like She looked bad, dog. Like and her doing it looks bad because at this point he already got his money. He already in the league. He already doing his thing, right?
She looked
And
like
that's to your point, Steve, or even Dom. You know what I'm saying? When is it time for you to get off let the reins go and whatever happened,
Right.
right?
She
But
looked
like because there
it has to be a
was
balance, though, live. It has to be a balance. So
of course.
I think maybe we should send a recommendation. Zion Williamson should hire Jaden Daniels' mom.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Be his,
whoa,
be his
whoa,
permanent entourage.
whoa.
Yeah.
Back up for a second. Back
Yeah.
up
Good
for a second.
idea,
'Cause
Steve.
next thing you know, he gonna be jaying her. So
Oh, damn, Bishop. How you ruin that, Bishop?
Daddy,
Damn,
Big
man.
I'm just
Daddy,
saying. I'm just saying, cause
Ooh.
she looked like a burnt out Lynn Whitfield.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
She
Oh,
looked
Look
no.
like
like
Y'all
when
nasty.
after
I wish Dave,
yeah.
I wish Dave was here.
she three relationship decisions away from like just chalking it up and going to the other team.
Man, y'all look nasty, man. I wish Dave was here so we could talk about the Mets.
Well,
and not get as nasty as y'all did with my boy Bishop that one time.
yo,
That I happened to pop in and Bishop was like, damn, Tom. And then we remember not to get that was the day that I think we went as far left as a show could ever go. We went from me protecting Bishop and the Yankees to all of a sudden people trying to sue the city of New York because immigrants ain't got a hotel. And we would just remember them days, guys, that we used to stay on this shit till like midnight,
yo,
12:30 at night. And I'm like, I love this because I don't have a job.
So they were trying to.
Yeah.
What it was is that the moderator.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let that shit go, bro.
Wait, the unbiased moderator. The unbiased moderator tried to make a correlation between the Yankees and the Cowboys.
I sure did.
Certain people wasn't having it. Certain people wasn't having it.
It doesn't matter if you were having it or not having it.
So,
I don't really care. Because again, it was a fair comparison.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
it wasn't. I'm glad I tried.
What was the comparison? What was the comparison?
The Yankees winning and the Cowboys winning. Now we can at least say the Yankees
winning since what, the 90s? What do you mean?
I'm talking
the
about
Cowboys, yeah.
Here we go.
The Yankees at least won one in 2009. I mean, I know that's a long ways away, but
yeah.
To Bishop's point, it wasn't as drastic as the Cowboys, and at the end of the day, it was still more recent than the Mets. And then everybody got just like that. Everybody got quiet, Steve.
Let me explain.
And I just happened to chime in.
So the point that I was trying to make was the last time the Mets were relevant is when they had Coke in the dugout and strippers and chicks in the locker room.
Speaking of hoes,
in the locker room, that's the last time they were relevant. So let's go get Doc Gooden out of rehab and Darryl Stewart. Let's go get them back, and then maybe I might have a chance.
And then they both ended up being Yankees. Ain't that some shit?
And win a World Series.
Okay, granted. First of all, I was saying as a Yankee fan, I was not really a big fan of the kid, Steinbrenner, Hal Stein, because Hal has a different DNA. Right. You understand what I'm saying? He's not like King George. King George wanted to win. I don't see Hal in that same view. I see Hal
totally different,
big
correct.
Yeah.
On merchandising and tickets. And that's why I see Hal.
It's just like what's his name? Buss. The Lakers owner, Jerry Buss. Him and the daughter are kind of alike, but the son, Jim Buss, totally different. So
yes,
just because you come from that family tree doesn't mean you have that same moxie.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. So I was saying that, and when they were like, "Oh, you're supposed to be a Yankee fan," this and this, only because I felt that the Steinbrenner and Cashman regime wasn't making moves, really good moves, to get a championship, to put himself in a championship.
That's not the point.
Yeah. Oh my.
You and Dave.
Tell me what I was saying, man.
You and Dave both.
No, it wasn't me.
And Bishop was by himself. Wasn't nobody but Dave.
You and Dave were like, yo, the Yankees haven't won. The Yankees haven't won in this generation.
Overreacting.
The Yankees haven't won
right now.
The Yankees haven't been relevant in this generation. So this generation won't know what it's like for the Yankees to win the championship because they've been irrelevant. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, are you a Mets fan talking this crap?
That is
It's
not
like,
true.
yo,
That is
it's
not
like,
true.
At the
That's
end
not
of the day, though, to
That
defend
is
my
not
boy
true.
Bishop, at the end of the day, even though we're going to talk about the Mets in a second, at the end of the day, the Yankees are that team
mhm,
that could not be relevant but still be relevant,
basically.
if that makes sense.
We are the
Amen.
epicenter. The New
How
York
are they not relevant? I don't understand the point. How are they not
Exactly.
relevant?
No, that's
the
what they was
Yankees are
arguing
the
about, Steve,
epicenter
about
of
Yo,
about 2
why
years
you
ago.
They are
And
the
Bishop keep
epicenter
bringing it up. But you know what,
sports.
Art? You know what that relevance and Cashman reminds me of? And I hope we say this all the time, guys. I hope he's okay. Chandler. Remember Chandler used to always say that? They're not trying to win. Steve, you know Chandler. You and Ab remember Chandler. He used to come on with us, and then all of a sudden, him and R had a text beef, and dude went ghost for like 5 years.
Exactly.
So, yeah, he used to always say they don't want to win. They just want to win
I thought
100
we
games.
have talked about it on our show many a times. The Yankees never bottomed out when they were rebuilding. They
Exactly.
kind of
They did.
were
They
third
did.
place, 86 wins. They weren't really terrible, but they weren't
No.
great. And they
Right.
held it down through the Mark Teixeira years, A-Rod. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I thought they did a height. Because some teams, when they rebuild, they bottom out. I mean, they go like Utah Jazz bottom out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We ain't did that. Yankees ain't do that.
No, never. Well, maybe in the 70s, early 70s, late 60s. Yeah,
Oh no, I'm saying
then-
since the 90s, basically.
Yeah,
The
since the
90s.
90s,
Yeah, right.
yes.
And that's a
Without a
true
doubt.
fact. Exactly. I'm not
Yeah.
going to deny that.
But what are we talking about with the Mets, are?
Well,
They're
just
still the third best team in the National League East.
well, right now they're I guess so.
We're one of the highest payrolls. We're one of the
Yeah.
highest payrolls.
Yeah, I
And
guess
they
so.
still
I
the
guess
third
so.
best team. I'm not saying that because I don't like the Mets. I'm not that guy. I'm just saying. It's
Listen,
funny,
I-
Art. I'm not to cut you off, Art. It's funny that I said this to you guys months ago, and now I'm hearing all these talking heads on TV. Well, you know, I think the Braves and the Phillies. No shit. I don't care if you sign Babe Ruth. The Braves and the Phillies are still better than the Mets. It's just that the math ain't mathing. Because to think about some of the dumb shit Soto said, I wanted to go to a team that had more talent, more youth. Where did you see this shit? Was you looking at the 86 team, or I don't get it. But again, I'm not knocking him. I'm just going to stand on my ground and say the Mets are still the third best team in the National League East.
Well, not according to the Mets fans, because when they signed them, they were like,
they win the World Series. Yeah.
Just engrave the trophy.
I
Just engrave
think.
the trophy.
What do you
Let me
think,
ask
Steve?
you guys, because we're all kind of combination fans. Do you think Mets fans and Knicks fans are more alike, or Yankee fans and Knicks fans are more alike?
Wow. I
That's
think
a good
it's
question.
Knicks and Yankees. Because
Knicks and
Knicks and Mets,
Yankees.
because they're both petty.
Yeah.
Mets and Knicks, excuse me. Mets and Knicks fans are extremely petty. And Knicks fans have just gone totally off the bonkers. Not to mention they both wear orange and blue. But, yeah, I would correlate them more together. I think, and it's not because I'm a Yankee fan and I'm from the Bronx, I just think in sports in general, taking my Yankee hat off, well, I took it off already, the Yankees just stand alone. They don't need that shit. They don't need Twitter beefs. They don't need Mets versus Yankees, Bronx versus Queens beef, because they are the Yankees. I don't care what you think about them. I don't care when's the last time they won a World Series. They still are the New York Yankees, period. The Mets and the Knicks will never, ever, I don't care what anybody says, ever measure up to the New York Yankees. There was times I used to tell you guys, the Knicks need to go down to the Bronx, sit down with the Yankee ownership and GMs and figure out how a fucking real team is supposed to be operating. That's what the Yankees are. Them other two teams, no, man. They're I'm not even going to say the Mets are our baby brother. No, we just stand alone, man. Take the Knicks, take the Yankees out of it, and you have the Mets and the Yankees. I mean, the Mets and the Giants, the Mets and the Knicks.
Right.
They're so much alike. They're petty as shit. They think they're better than everybody, but then will throw their own team under the bus in a New York minute, like kicking the tires on coaches, on fucking hot dog vendors. We don't do that shit as Yankee fans. We put on our blue hat, we root for our team, and don't nothing come between that. Be honest, guys. If you're a Yankee fan, you know what I'm talking about. Nothing comes between us and them pinstripe. I don't care what anybody else is talking about. It's the Yankees, and that's it. It's a different ball game. You remember, Steve? I think it was. I used to tell Steve and Ab, "Oh shit, man, it's January. Pitches and catches," because we knew the Knicks weren't going nowhere. We were waiting for pitches and catches to show up in January. So don't even try to compare that shit. Nah, leave them Mets and them Knicks fans right where they're at. Have fun.
Wow.
So can I ask them a little bit, right? So I think what the reason why Mets and Knicks fans are so much alike is because
they ain't won.
You had to be fans within mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? Like we had to live and be diehards when our team wasn't shit. Right? We looking at the Yankees and you know, again, to your point, they've never been bad. Right? They've always been good or championship situation. And they got all these fucking banners and la la la. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks got rings that I don't even remember. You know what I'm saying? That 72 shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like 2 or some shit like that. So it's we both had to be roots and diehard fans within mediocrity. Like, you understand what I'm saying? We had a moment in the 90s where we was, perennial playoff team and shit. But the 90s is we still holding on to the 90s. You know,
30 years ago.
You feel me? Like these years now are a resurgence to that time where we always go to the playoffs. The team is basically always good. But for Yankee fans, y'all don't gotta do that.
Y'all ain't old enough. I wish Godfather was on the show. Y'all ain't old enough like me and the Godfather that have seen the Yankees in the 70s.
Yes.
They couldn't get out their own way in the 70s.
I've seen it as well.
They had that long gap between the 60s and then 76 when they got swept. 77, 78, they won. They disappeared again for 3 years. Then the Dodgers beat them in 81. Then they went all the way to the 90s before they won again. But here's the thing with the Yankees. I guess the Mets and the Knicks, misery loves company. The only thing that ever depressed me about the Yankees was the decade of 2010 to 2020. Because here's where I give you the did you know. Did you know between 1900 and the year 2000, the Mets, the Yankees had won a World Series in every decade. Actually, more than one. When you consider a 100-year span, 1900 to 2000, basically the Yankees won a World Series every 4 years. Can't nobody say that shit. Serious. Even with, like I just broke down to y'all, from the 60s to the 70s, that gap, which was horrible. The Yankees couldn't get 20 people in the old Yankee Stadium. It was so bad they used to let us walk across the field to go home. So they had their lows, guys. Y'all just weren't around. I'm old enough to remember. But then again, when they did come back in, let's say, the 90s, to Steve's point, they never fell off again. Where no other team, even the Dodgers, as, evil empire-ish as they are, they've had droughts. It's hard for people to realize when I ask the question, who has the second most World Series wins? The first team everybody comes up with is the Dodgers. But it's not. The Dodgers do not have the second most World Series wins. It's the St. Louis Cardinals. So the Yankees have had the most success, I'd like to say, of any sports franchise, period.
They are. I will. You know what? You might be right when you talk about longevity. I was going to throw in, there's one franchise in my lifetime that never bottomed out in all professional sports. That's the Los Angeles Lakers. They never had a gap since I've been alive.
Well, they had a small one.
Never. Who?
They had a small one with the
Lakers,
Dick Van Exel and Magic Johnson.
Oh, come on. What, 2 years? Are we serious?
I'm just saying, it was a small one.
They still went to the playoffs.
I thought you was going to say the Montreal Canadiens.
No, they bottomed out too. Like, I'm talking about long stretches, not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Lakers, since I've been alive, they've never done that.
Yeah, true.
They've always been relevant. Because Kareem retires in 88, 89, or whatever it was. Magic's on his way out. Then all of a sudden, they go through they get Van Exel, Eddie Jones. Shaq comes over from Orlando. They draft Kobe. They right back in it in the late 90s. Now they're playing San Antonio. They got through San Antonio, and then they get their three-peat. And look who they are. They got Luka now. They got a friend. How did this team get the best players in NBA history on their franchise?
Yeah, especially when
Consistently.
you talk about big men, Mike and Chamberlain, Jabbar,
Yeah.
Shaq. If you want to throw Pau
Jabbar.
Gasol in there, you know,
Gasol, yeah. How
Yeah,
do they
when you
get
talk
all the
about
great
big
players?
guys,
The
yeah.
greats. Not just regular players. They're getting the greats of the league's history on that
Right.
team.
Who
It's
doesn't want
unfair.
to play in LA?
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to play in
Right,
LA?
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Right,
Who doesn't
that's
wanna play in
the
LA?
selling point. That's the selling point.
Yeah,
It
who
goes back to
doesn't
what I
wanna
was
play in
saying,
LA?
man.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I was saying, guys. You're a New Orleans Pelican, double overtime. You lose that game, let's say in Houston or Los Angeles, you go back to the hotel, you ain't really lose. You win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it ain't just the weather either, because
You got that right.
Again, we keep saying, I said this a while ago, there's no more Mecca. Madison Square Garden is not the Mecca unless you just say it as an old cliche. Because there ain't been shit happening in that place since what? The
So
Rangers?
I think it does have the best. I think in the NBA, it is the best arena as far as energy. When it's rocking, there's nothing. There's no arena
winning.
better than the Garden.
Right, I'm talking winning. You know,
everybody wants to show out in the Garden.
Right, exactly.
Everybody.
Right.
Everybody
Most
wants
of the time, it ain't our
yeah.
guys.
Everybody wants to show out in the Garden. And the crazy part is, New York fans appreciate when a guy comes there and balls
Yeah,
out.
but that burns me and Steve's ass, man.
I'm saying, like,
Sorry.
when Jordan would come there and ball out,
Right.
people hated it, but they respected that.
Hmm.
When guys
Yes.
would come there and ball out, people would respect it. Most educated fans would respect it.
Well, Dom,
So-
if the Garden is not the Mecca, then what arena right now in the NBA is the Mecca? I mean, when I'm talking about the Mecca, I'm talking about the energy. Like when you watch a Knicks playoff game, it ain't nothing like it.
Of course, because one, the Knicks sell out, so it's going to be some energy in there. I'm talking about winning percentage. You can have
That's
like
different. Well, that's
like
a different
the Lakers.
conversation.
For example, the Lakers are, like you said, Steve, they are probably one of the most consistent franchises in basketball, right? But if you watch a game playing in the Lakers, they're that Hollywood shit. I don't want to get too sweaty. I don't want to yell too loud. There's a difference in coastal behavior too. LA is much more laid back. You know, New York, we're more, you know, it don't take a lot to egg on a New Yorker. Let's keep it a buck.
We're
you know,
wrong.
like me and
We're
Steve
very
had a
wrong.
conversation when
We
Curry,
breathed that. We breathed
when
that.
Curry, exactly. When Curry broke that 3-point record and you got Spike Lee laying on the floor almost kissing Curry's ass, that kind of shit burns me, man, because I'm a Knicks fan. I don't care if you came in, you just topped the damn NBA scoring record. You don't do shit. And I don't know. And this NBA with the buddy and the kissing and doing fucking movie trivia, and you ain't won nothing. You ain't won a ring. You ain't won shit. And they're running 50-minute movies showing your career. Come on, stop with this nonsense, man. Wow. Win something and then get a damn tribute. You come home after 2 weeks, and now all of a sudden you're Moses parting the Red Sea. Man, miss me with that baby shit.
So when they did the
I'm
tribute,
getting too old for y'all, man.
When they did the tribute for get off my lawn.
Yes. And I get my shit green.
When they did the tribute, for Luka. I'm like, first of all, you put him on blast throughout the NBA. You put him on blast. You basically told everybody that he's not the guy that you want to pay $60 million a year.
Try again. Yeah, out there drinking Steel Reserve and shit.
It's like, yo, he's not the guy. It's like, yo, he's not the guy that you want to pay that money to, because he's not dedicated. He's not serious. He can come out here and score, but he's not going to be the guy that leads you to the promised land. That's basically what they said. Because if you see how many jerseys, this, that, blah, blah, blah. What's the name? The general manager didn't make that decision on his own. He was just a front man for management saying, "Oh hell no," because $60 million a year is more than Steph Curry was making at the height of his career, and more than LeBron James would make. So you mean to tell me that you're gonna pay this guy who can't stay in shape, who's a undercover alcoholic, who's going to hookah bars and doing all, and that's only the nice stuff. That's only the nice stuff that we heard about. That's only the nice stuff we heard about. So it's kind of like, and it didn't serve anybody any justice for them to put him on full blast. But it's like I'm sure some more stuff will come out as it goes on. Some more stuff will come out, but then you give him a little funky tribute, and he's there crying. He's there crying, and I think after the game, him and Nico they hugged and they tongue kissed and told each other they were sorry. Told each other they were sorry. And it's like, come on, man, come on, knock it off. It's like it's just another game. It's just another game.
Right.
It's just another game. It's like, your Jerry Maguire moment. You had me at a low. He's crying and doing all of this. Come on, stop. Just play ball.
Yeah. Wow. All this.
I guess my question. Let me ask you guys this, because I understand the basketball aspect, what you're saying, him not being in shape and him drinking and hookah bars and all that. But was it really worth trading an asset like that when you have brand recognition globally? That's the other part, business wise. Or the Dallas Mavericks. I'm saying we don't even want the business from, like, he's known around the world. I didn't even realize that when I go to the different countries. When I was in Germany, that's all they were wearing Luka jerseys. I was shocked.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
So
not,
he's big.
He's not that kind of gravitational star. Like when you say like a LeBron, a Kobe, Michael, this or that, it's like Luka. When you say Luka, like, so Luka has Jordan sneakers, right? Luka has Jordan sneakers. How many people do you see wearing Luka sneakers? How many?
I'm looking at it more. Think of it like Yao Ming. Remember, I brought this up last night. Yao Ming in the Hall of Fame. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta look. This is why I say from a position when I'm in Germany, I'm in these European countries, and I'm in South America right now. I'm telling you, like, these players are big time out here, like more than I realize. When I'm not seeing it from a United States point of view within the borders of the United States. When I go abroad, I'm like, yo, these dudes are big time out here, more than I realize. I don't think the fans from America realize that. You got to see this.
That's where their roots are, though. They have European roots, so they're gonna be popular because they have the European roots. But what I'm saying is, it's got to start like. Yao Ming was an exception because China's got like 50 billion people. So just like Jeremy Lin, when Jeremy Lin got like Linsanity, and then all of a sudden he became like this sensation and whatever, it's because of the masses in China, and you have so many Chinese fans here in the U.S. But here in the U.S., nobody's wearing Luka Jordans. I mean, people in Dallas probably is a big, but you ain't.
That's not the point I'm saying. You're looking from within the United States. I'm talking about the rest of the world. It's a big world out here, dog. These people are they're anointed out here, man.
Time out. I want to respond to Bishop. They are, because they are selling.
Where?
Okay, so it's not all over New York, but they're wearing them in LA.
Where?
Chicago. They're wearing them in Miami. They're wearing them in Topeka, Kansas. They're wearing them in Minnesota. They're obviously, because the sales tell you that they are.
I don't even know what they look like.
They selling those sneakers. They selling those sneakers in the outlet malls and this and that, and they like $49, $55. They started at $140. They started at $140, and now they're selling them.
Of the entire world, like Steve was saying.
Yeah, I understand what he's saying. Right. But again, when you start talking about like fan popularity and so forth and so on, it's like it starts here. It starts here. Like if you want that brand, that, hey, well, wherever you go, like, so when Michael Jordan was in the league, he was known internationally. You had people who couldn't even speak English that had Michael Jordan jerseys on. You had people wearing Jordans. It was so crazy. People were buying your old Jordans to wear your old Jordans. Not even the brand new ones. And there's still a market for used Jordans. You understand what I'm saying? So you have, like, when Allen Iverson was in the league and he got that popularity, he had people wearing Reeboks all over. Nobody even knew what Reebok was. You understand what I'm saying? So
Shaq was wearing Reeboks. Excuse me.
Huh?
Shaq was wearing Reeboks long before him. But
Shaq, yeah, who's wearing Shaq sneakers?
Not now, but I'm saying when he was big, I know I had a set of the Shaq pumps.
Yeah, again, it's like certain players. I get what dude is saying. Certain players generational talent, so people are going to gravitate towards them. But it's like here in the States, he might be great in Europe. He might be great in Europe. The sales over there may be hitting the ceiling, but he got spaced here in the U.S. He got spaced, and it's like, yo, you could be popular there, but they pretty much put you on blast and said you weren't worth it. That's what that message was. You're not worth it. So how does that translate? How does that translate across the U.S.? People in Europe, they might not understand that the magnitude of the decision that Dallas made, and they still gonna wear the jerseys or whatever. But that would cause me as a fan, and the fans in Dallas, I'm like, yeah, you guys are going crazy, and the management just said, hey, we don't want to hamstring the organization because this guy is not the long-term guy that's going to take us to the promised land. He's great at the step backs and the excitement and this and that and the Luka magic and this and that, but that's not the guy that's going to take us to the promised land.
I think at the end of the day, guys, something else is going to happen. There has to be some sort of underlying reason.
Yes.
Other than all the things that we're seeing, with the, he stays injured, blah, blah, blah. And I just looked it up. I always do that. His sneakers average from $70 to $130.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, I've seen them in the outlet mall.
Right. What I said, Bishop, 70. Yeah. We starting at 70. Some say 50 to 110.
But
the highest end I saw was 70 to 130.
Let me say this one quick point, and I'll lay my plane, because I saw maybe about a month ago, Jeannie Buss, the Laker owner or partner, she's the daughter of the Jerry Buss. She's the one who actually came out on a podcast. I could bring it up, and I'll send you guys the link after this episode. She's the one. I don't know if you guys saw it. She basically said we didn't know the value Luka brought globally. That's why I brought that up, because the Lakers see that value globally, but the Dallas Mavericks don't. I think I trust the Lakers brand more than the Dallas Mavericks brand globally. I'm not talking about on the court. I'm talking about business. I'm talking about when we talk about wealth of the franchises, the Knicks, the Yankees. This is why the Lakers are the Lakers, because they figure out, they get the best players in franchise histories in the league history and get them in their prime and bring them in. I think that was smart by the Lakers. Whether they win a championship or not, they're going to keep that market value for that franchise up. She said that. And I take her word.
They're talking about establishing a European NBA league, right? So they're talking about establishing that. So I'm thinking that a lot of the U.S. franchises will probably have franchises abroad. So you'll have that connection, and you'll be able to market, the premier player from the U.S. or whatever. So you'll have both markets that you can exploit. So from that perspective, yes. That was a great business decision on their part. And it's like, again, my thing is, this guy is supposed to be, everybody's saying, a generational talent. I've never in the history of watching the NBA seen a franchise space a star player like how they spaced him. Maybe some of the players didn't get the max contracts or didn't get the money that they wanted or whatever, but they still were able to come to some sort of terms, or they just didn't space him. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the first time that I've seen in NBA history where they just pretty much spaced the star player to say, you're not worth it. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me.
And it's weird to correlate that with some of us on the line like baseball. Maybe I was wrong, guys. I thought Vlad was going to get a much bigger contract than he did. And at the end of the day, I think he's going to average out at like $30 million a year. So 15 years, 12 or 15 years. Again, that's just me. I'm thinking, one, he's in Toronto, where us people that follow baseball know it's hard to draw and get talent there. The border, the tackles, whatever. So I thought, this guy was going to walk away, 40, 45 mil, maybe even 50 mil, just to keep him there, because it's so hard to keep players there. And they basically got him on the low, not to switch gears, guys. I'm just talking about money, marketing. I thought, actually, guys, at the end of the day, I thought he would, never sign with them. because I thought he could get more attention, more marketing, more money from a higher echelon team. Not saying just the Yankees. There are other teams in baseball that I think would have stood a better chance of marketing him than the Toronto Blue Jays. And he settled for, like I said, guys, when you do the math, he's getting like, no, I'm not saying $30 million ain't a lot of money, fellas, please. Don't take that the wrong way. But it was 100 years ago, A-Rod was getting 25 mil.
Hey, Dom, real quick, because we were talking about Luka going from Dallas to the Lakers, but you brought up the reason why the Yankees are the Yankees. Think about how the Red Sox had Babe Ruth. He ends up on the Yankees. The Yankees are winning championships decade after decade, like you said. And then Boston couldn't win until what year?
2004.
2004?
Yeah.
It took them 70 years. So sometimes these moves it could cause a big domino effect. One franchise goes in one direction, and another goes in another. I mean, it could be the same with the Lakers and the Dallas. It could be like that.
Right. I'm not
the Lakers
saying
are
that
still
that'll
2
happen.
seasons away. They still 2 seasons away because they have no big man. They have no big man. They got Luka. They got Austin Reeves.
Their defense is less than desirable.
What happens with what happened? LeBron is going to be off in the sunset, but you can't count on him for maybe another season. But you got Luka and Austin Reeves. I watch those games, and when the game gets down to it, they're singling those 2 guys out. They're running offense specifically targeting those 2 guys, and it's like it's hard. It's hard to say somebody's worth $60 million, and it's like monopoly money now because they got the new contracts,
CBA,
the new CBA, so they're gonna be giving money away. So it's like monopoly money, and they still were like, "Nah, we're not doing that with you."
And that was one of the things. If you guys remember, not to beat this horse to death, but that was one of the things that was identified in last year's championship. The Celtics were running shit right at Luka. They weren't even trying to hide it. They were going right at him because his defense and his footwork is, and I'm not knocking the guy. He's a hell of a ball player, but his weakness became such a glaring light that we all saw it. Come on, let's be honest. We all watched the damn championship. We probably didn't get that involved because the Celtics beat him in the ground. But if you watch them games, now people will say, well, he was doing this and that on offense, but there's more than just offense. I say this all the time about Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, so I can't hold back on the Luka Doncic. They were going right at him.
Hey.
All right.
Hey. Oh, you know where I'm going with this. Oh, you know where I'm going with this.
Go ahead, man.
Where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going, brother.
You know where I'm going with this.
I'm just saying,
Dom,
we know the weaknesses on defense, guys.
Okay, Dom, mention another name.
Blasphemy.
Mention another name.
Playing defense?
Why you telling the truth? Tell the truth and shame the devil. Mention another name.
Of playing defense, or you want me to say the coach?
Excuse me. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope. I want you to say a player.
Non-defensive player?
A specific player, yes.
On the Knicks?
Nope, not on the Knicks.
Oh, don't play defense. There's a ton of them.
Come on. It's in the Western Conference.
Go.
That teams are targeting. Yeah.
Here we go.
The glaring weakness. The glaring weakness.
Yeah,
you can score 1,000 points in one game, but you're still losing because you can't guard a park car.
But he can at least say he won a ring.
Well,
and he's unstoppable. Here's the funny thing, guys, since Bishop brought this up. Do you know there are people right now, and I understand the what do they call it now, voter fatigue, but this guy is having other than his 3 MVPs, he's having one of the most historical seasons in NBA history.
And his team is still 4th.
Well, like I always say, show me a guy that won MVP that this team has the best record.
Yeah, so
I'll wait.
So the
but
MVP,
we're gonna get back to the Mets.
The MVP, the MVP. So you can't throw that out there. You can't throw that out there and then try to change the subject.
No, I'm just saying.
The
this
MVP,
guy's having an historical season, guys.
You said 3 MVPs.
When's the last time a 7-footer was second in 3-point percentage? Third in assists.
I'm saying 3 MVPs.
Oh.
And
Oh.
like 2 of those are like bogus.
Voter fatigue.
2 of those are like bogus. That's like when Giannis won back-to-back MVP.
That was
And
bogus.
it's like
But he ain't nowhere
it's like
near Jokic.
Steve Nash won
They ain't
back-to-back
nowhere near Nikola
MVPs.
Jokic.
So when you're saying MVPs, it's kind of like it's a media popularity contest
Right.
and whatever narrative
But-
that they want to throw out there.
But
Because
again, this year, Bishop, check the numbers, man. Guys, y'all know, y'all watch basketball.
Shea
Even
had
if-
the best.
even
Shea
if
had
you
the
don't.
best numbers last season, and he
No,
got
Shea
stiff.
has the most points. That's it. When it comes
He
to
had
him
the
and
best-
Luke, when it comes to him and Joker, it ends right there.
He had the best.
Shea
record.
Gilchrist is averaging more points than him. He's shooting
So-
better from the field, shooting better from three, averaging more assists, more rebounds. I'm serious, guys. I'm not saying this because I defend what this guy is doing. We all should be. When you see historical shit like this happening in a league you like, now again, guys, the NBA is weird. The NBA, when they get bored, they come up with new shit. Now it's voter fatigue. What is voter fatigue? Do you get out of breath when you vote for this shit? I mean, you got to run a marathon before you vote for Steve. I don't get it. What's this new voter fatigue?
What it is, they can't change the narrative and they can't move the goalpost because now wins don't count. Now the
Well,
player
it never did.
best record-
It never did, Bishop.
now the
I'm
player
telling
with
you,
the best
who's
record.
the last guy
doesn't-
that won the
it doesn't
MVP that
count.
this team had the best record?
It started out with Steve Nash.
I don't
And then
care
it
when
became
it started. I'm
trash,
just
and then
asking.
it became trash ever since then. Because
Right.
you had Kobe in the league, and you give Steve Nash a back-to-back.
It's funny. I don't want to go back and forth with Bishop because but it's funny every time something new happens, the NBA comes up with a new narrative. Like I said, if this guy would have never won MVP before, believe me, he'd be the unanimous MVP this year.
Guys,
He'd have to be.
You
Numbers
got
don't lie.
excited.
People lie
You
with
got
numbers.
excited when he scored. What was it? 50 points.
60. He had a
60.
60-point triple-double.
No, I'm talking about the game that he had against the Washington Wizards when you posted all of those stats and was like, "Yo, it's like, come on."
That was the 50
Come on.
triple-double. Then he got
It's
a
like, come
60-point triple-double. Come on, man.
That's fine.
When you're,
And
when
they still
guys
lost.
On the, when
And they
guys
still
on the
lost.
opposing team say, "I've never seen no shit like this," nobody cares what Bishop and Dominic saying. When opposing players like, "I ain't never seen nothing like this," you gotta take some kind of credence in that.
You know what? Let me stop this right now.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
As you guys are going back and forth, I see
Right.
the look on people's faces. You know what I'm saying? So let's move on. I was gonna put the Mike Malone situation and whatnot, but
No.
Did the Knicks lose?
Own day.
What's that again?
I think that topic deserves its own day. Like we have to have a whole day.
God damn.
What, Mike Malone?
Yeah.
Man, we could wrap that up in 2 sentences.
I know you can.
You could, but you know that Bishop will have a retort for you.
No,
exactly.
I don't care.
Like
I don't
did
care
last
about
night,
Denver.
and y'all got quiet on me.
I don't care about Denver.
Are live trying to double team me.
I don't
Then when I
care
said,
about Denver.
You
Yeah.
take Nikola Jokic away from Mike Malone, and you got Doc Rivers,
Pretty
or
much.
Jeff Van Gundy, or name a coach. I mean,
Rick Carlisle.
I'm just saying, Rick Carlisle. Yeah, they all won a ring, and they're all unemployed. I'm just saying, guys. Again, like I said last night, Steve knows I like the Nuggets. I have nothing against Mike Malone, but don't make him out to be the new Marlon the Magician. No, man.
And like I had said,
4 losing seasons.
In regards to that, I had said early in our group text, I said, listen, yo, I'm not saying Mike Malone should be the next Knicks coach. He might not be the guy for the Knicks.
No.
Okay, he might not be. I'm just saying, but you do have other options. Okay, you do have other hot assistant coaches. Pause. No Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? That will be the next ones in line for a head coach position. That's what I'm saying.
I can't wait to see that day. Or you know that me and you had this conversation.
That's all I'm saying, bro.
We keep saying it, but then
I don't want I don't want any retread.
Like Bishop always says.
I don't want to see it. I don't like it. You understand? What are you gonna bring? You're gonna bring nothing.
About that. If you guys are talking about replacing Tibbs, you guys got to have a solid guy for me. Are we saying Thibodeau is the Mark Jackson version of the Warriors for the Knicks? So there's going to be somebody's going to come after Tom Thibodeau and take us to the promised land. I got to know who that is exactly. The reason why I say that because you play with the coaches like the Rangers are doing with the hockey team. You can't. It's fucked right now. The hockey side at the guard is fucked. Because they changing coaches like no tomorrow, and they're making the team worse. So we got to be careful with this head coach situation.
We did it,
I
guys.
understand that. I get
We
that.
did it. We did 5 coaches in 6 years. We did this.
Yeah. So if you want to go to the next level, where it's like we're not looking at a second round playoff exit, and it may be an early second round playoff exit again this season. Yeah.
First round. You don't see the game right now.
Exactly.
I'm going to bring up something.
No,
Exactly.
if we play, we either gonna play Detroit or we're gonna play the Bucks.
We losing to Detroit. We done lost tonight, dog.
They said everybody.
I got it, but I'm saying, so things like the things like what's happening, and I'm not the end of the season. You can't really count those games.
Right.
You can't really count those games at the end of the season because guys, there's gonna be so many anomalies. This is my first time getting some burn. I've been sitting on the bench all season. I'm gonna show everybody. I'm coming out and I'm showing out. So you'll get some guy who you never even heard of will come out there and be lights out. So I get it. I'm giving Tibbs a pass on this. What I'm not giving him a pass on is we haven't even been competitive against the top tier teams. We haven't even been competitive. How many times do you got to get slapped in your face and kicked in the belly before you change your game plan because what you're doing doesn't work? How many times do we have to get beat by Chicago, Atlanta, the Pacers? Like, how many times do you have to get beat by these teams before you change up what your modus operandi is? And you can say, okay, well, it's the players. The players have to be accountable, this or that. In my mind, head coaches are the people that galvanize the guys that you got. They galvanize them. They get them to buy into the system. They get. I agree with Dom. Karl Anthony Towns has the basketball IQ of a rotten egg. And again, but as a coach, you are able to get this dude to buy in to be the best defender that he can possibly be. I watch these Boston games, and I'm like, dude, Tatum can shoot. How many times are you going to go under the screen and give this guy 5 feet of airspace to shoot a wide open three? Like he shot like 15 of them and hit 13, and you still don't change what you're doing. And it's like, again, some of this has to be on the coach as well, because it's like you see what you're doing is not working, and you continue to keep doing the same thing. It's the coach.
Do y'all believe what they're saying? That the Knicks are actually vying for the 4th seed?
No.
So that they'll play the Bucks and then they'll be in the next round with Cleveland instead of Boston?
No. I told you this when there was 40 games left in the season. I mean, 40 games. They had won 40 games and there was 19 games left. I said to you, hey, they're going to finish with a 50-win season in the second round exit. It doesn't matter who they play in the second round. They play Cleveland in the second round, they're losing. They're losing. Like, we haven't shown any ability to even compete with these teams.
I just think they're better than us, Bishop.
Question.
Without beating the dead horse. I just think they're better than us. And I'm saying that as a Knicks fan.
Question.
Again, with the consistency, the camaraderie, the teamwork, the cohesion of playing together for 4 to 6 years together is making a difference. Look at all the teams that are doing it.
I agree
Boston,
with that.
Cleveland,
I agree with
Indiana,
that.
OKC.
Dom, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do agree with the consistency. I get that. But let me ask you a question, and I asked you earlier. Is Tibbs the guy to lead this team to the promised land?
No.
I don't know, because I don't know who that guy is. Y'all always say that. Who is the guy then?
I just said,
who is the guy? That's the point.
Is there a
Who's this head coach y'all talking? Who's this fantasy head coach you guys got?
Hey, I don't have. Let me tell you something. I don't have any fancy ass coach. I'll just say this: kick the damn tires and find the guy.
Though? All y'all keep saying that.
Oh my God!
Kick the tires. What?
If you just answered, if you just answered, I asked you: is Tom Thibodeau the guy, the coach, to lead this team to the promised land? And you said no.
I didn't say no. I didn't say no. I didn't say no. I said, who is? If he's not, who is? Because I'll tell you this, it took y'all 10 minutes, just like the rest of Knick Nation. It took y'all 10 minutes when Mike Malone got fired to kick the tires. And then when I broke down his record, everybody got a little quiet. And then when I broke down his record without Nikola Jokic, it got even quieter.
I didn't
So
pick Malone.
until that guy is identified, again, guys, we're talking like Steve says, MSG, the Rangers. We've witnessed this. We've witnessed 5 coaches in 6 years. And guess what we've had after that? We've had 4 winning seasons, 4 playoff teams, back-to-back 50 wins. Whether that suffices your appetite or not, that's a personal thing. But we're talking about shit the Knicks haven't done in 30 years. 30 years.
So
And
let's
you
be,
give this
let's
guy
be
no
happy.
credence, no kudos because
No.
because somebody can't check a dude on the perimeter. Like
No.
Tom Thibodeau's supposed to go out there like a puppet and put a string on him and say, "Get on him."
So
You
now,
saw the game winner.
so now
You saw the
now
game
you letting
tying
him off the
shot.
hook.
Wait a minute, Bishop. Wait a minute. You brought up Tatum. Y'all saw the game tying shot. Who? Head fake Anunoby. Step back.
Great defense.
Yes. Just that simple. He shook him out his pants and one of our best defensive players, and he shot a 3. What was Thibodeau supposed to say? Oh, wait a minute. Make sure you get a little closer. Again, guys, some things are individual tasks.
How
If
did
you
we get
can't
to that
guard
point?
your man, you can't guard your man.
How did we get to that?
Yeah, I need to know who the head coach y'all talking about is going to
Me
replace
too.
Thibodeau.
I say it
You know
every day,
what?
Steve.
You guys
You know
keep
what?
saying that.
You know
You
what?
guys
I say
keep
it every
saying that.
day.
But I'm saying,
Exactly.
you guys keep saying that.
How about
You guys
this?
keep saying that as a cop out for the fact that you know that Tibbs is not the guy.
Well, who
Exactly.
is?
You
I'm asking you,
I,
who is?
listen,
so
I'm not saying the.
when
I'm not.
Keep
Boston,
You know
kicking the
what?
tires.
when Boston got that new
Jesus.
coach that nobody knew, everybody was like, "Oh, don't know if he's really going to be that guy."
But where did he come
When
from?
Bickerstaff got on the when Bickerstaff was in Cleveland and they were doing stuff, and then they said, "It's not really the coach. It's not really the coach." And then he got to Detroit and he turned Detroit around. When there's a bunch of when the dude from Orlando, when the kid from Orlando, he was an assistant. He got to Orlando, and now with all the injuries, they still are like a team that like Boston can't beat them. Like they're still a team. Like if you catch them on that day,
Now we're reaching.
catch them on no,
It's not a reach. That is not a reach.
Orlando.
It's like there's
Orlando ain't
coaches.
getting out the first round. I don't
There's-
care who they play.
What I'm
They
saying
probably
is
end up
there's
playing. Won't
coaches.
get out the play in.
What I'm saying is the point that
Come
I'm
on,
trying
we're
to make.
reaching now,
The
guys.
point that I'm trying to make is that there's coaches out there that will be able to
Who?
motivate the output of these
Who's the
guys.
coach? Give us a name.
You know what? I'll give
So
you
you
3
want-
names.
you want-
I'll give you 3 names. I'll give
Go
you 3
ahead.
assistants.
That's not gonna. It's
Like
not
the-
gonna satisfy them.
It
Art. It's
isn't.
not
I
gonna
know.
satisfy
It
I know.
ain't gonna satisfy
Guys,
Joe.
Hold on. I want to
No,
hear this.
it's
Go ahead, Ark. Go ahead, Ark.
Go ahead,
Micah. I'm about to. Micah Nori from
Ooh.
Minnesota. Micah Nori. He's an
Okay.
assistant with the
Yeah,
Minnesota.
the one that
Sam- Sam
Oh.
Cassell, Boston
Oh, God.
Celtics. Hey, you okay?
I'm listening.
I'll
Art.
give you names. I'm giving
I'm
you names.
listening.
Chris Quinn from the Miami Heat. That's 3 right there.
Okay. All right.
The coach in New York? Nah,
Yeah,
no.
okay.
And they
Yeah,
are
all right.
mentioned as top assistants
All right.
that
all
will
right.
soon get a NBA
And-
head coach.
Right. I hear you. We've been saying that about Sam
I
Cassell
know.
for years, but I
Too.
agree with you. I
No
agree with
clue.
you. Just for shits and giggles, I agree. But I'll ask y'all a question.
I'm just saying.
That
You
next
told me
coach,
to name some people. I just named
right,
some.
that next coach that you're picking, I'll take any one of the 3. When he comes in, Karl Anthony Towns is going to become Bill Russell.
No, he won't.
Jalen
never
Brunson
been.
is going to become
Why
Walt
would that
Frazier.
change? Why would that
Listen.
change? He's never been. He's never been that.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank
Right.
you. My
Right.
point exactly, Art. Thank you. You are who you are. It's that simple. I don't give a shit who your coach is. If you can't guard Steve Azul, you can't guard Steve Azul.
Okay.
If you got the basketball IQ of an Egg McMuffin, John Wooden is not going to make you better.
Let's see. What is
Let's
Tibbs
keep it
known
a
for?
buck.
What is Tibbs known for?
His defense.
I'm just saying.
How many teams average giving up more points than the Knicks? I'll give y'all time to look it up.
4.
It
So I
doesn't
don't
matter.
cheat. So I
It
won't
doesn't
cheat.
ma-
Because
it doesn't matter.
Y'all asked me the question.
It
What
doesn't.
is he
No, no.
known for?
I didn't know.
said
You-
defense. Y'all
Right.
laughed. So I asked, how many teams give up less points than the Knicks?
And
Then you got
and
quiet.
of those teams, the teams that you just mentioned, how many times has the Knicks beat them?
Hey, you know what? The Utah Jazz, who the Knicks lost to, 18 other teams lost to them. I don't hear nobody saying that.
Yeah,
It
the Knicks lost to
happens,
the
guys.
Charlotte
It's a
Hornets.
long
The Knicks
season.
lost to the Charlotte Hornets. That goes. That
The
I'm
Lakers
talking about-
lost to the Hornets.
I'm talking about.
Come
teams,
on, what are
I'm
we
talking
talking
about
about
teams.
here?
No, I'm talking about teams that the Knicks
Just
played
admit you don't like
that
the guy.
consistently.
I will sleep better
No.
at night if you live and R could just say, I do not like Tom Thibodeau, I can live with that. Don't make up excuses to get rid of him.
Let me say, you can't hate a motherfucker that give you 50.
Thank you, Live. Thank
You can't do
you.
that. Yeah,
Live. You want to go back to 17 winning seasons, Live?
Yeah.
You want to go back to the David Fizdale, Hornacek, Eric Bishop? You want to go back to that, Live?
Hell no. Frank Ntilikina, Alexi said, nah, we're not doing that. We're not,
yes, we will.
We're not doing that. But
Earl Williams Jr.,
right.
Earl Williams the third. You want to go back to that?
What's the cat that shot himself?
You want to go back to that?
So you know what? How about this, Dom? How about this?
Yes,
we give this guy a lifetime contract to coach the New York Knicks.
No.
Okay, because again, if you're gonna go by, who's out there? Well, who's out there?
Like I said, I would respect you, and especially you and Bishop, who I love dearly. Y'all know that. I would respect y'all more if you just said, I don't like this guy.
It's not about like and dislike.
Because what you're saying
and that's what I was getting ready to say, right? Like it's not a like or dislike, right? Because again,
yes, it is.
We all
I got an equitable question for Dom and Av. Av and Dom, do you want Aaron Boone to be replaced?
Yes.
No, I don't. I know a lot of people do, but
okay. So if you get rid of him, who do you bring in as manager to skip? Because it's the same question. It's the same situation.
Right. I don't know, guys. I'll say this, and I don't want to be like the defense attorney. I can't understand how you argue with success and then come up with pocket excuses like, "Oh my God, R shot a 3-pointer over OG Anunoby. Tom Thibodeau must be losing his mind because you can't argue with numbers.
Minimizing the point. You minimize.
Every show, man. Like we don't know what y'all are talking about.
I
get it, man. I get it. I do.
A 3-pointer at the end of regulation of an actual competitive game. How dare an MVP candidate freaking win a game? I don't know.
So when you make that statement, how did they get to that point? Because the Knicks were leading. The Knicks were leading at one point, and how did they get to that point?
They should have never been leading. They got a bullshit coach. So they didn't do nothing right. They should have never been in the game. They should have been blown out.
There's no such thing as a safe lead. Steve says this in almost every one of our shows, and Dom says this on every one of our shows. This is an offensive-driven league, and there's no lead that is safe. I'm not putting that on.
Don't mean nothing.
I'm not putting that on Tom Thibodeau. I'm putting that on the players. The players.
I'm just going to say this.
If you watch the game, the Knicks had a small lead.
They should have never had the lead, according to y'all.
And what they did was they said, okay, now what the coach for Boston did, was say, hey, we're just going to run this set play, and they ran it for the whole
thing.
And he shook the shit out of it.
Actually, they've been running it for the last 4 games.
They ran it for the
same thread play.
Yeah,
and high pick and roll head play.
Exactly.
Him going through 2 players and shooting the ball. It's the same shit he's been doing all 4 games. And I'm going, you ain't got to that.
KP scored 34 points. KP scored 34 points. And Carl Anthony Towns is still under the basket.
You have
no adjustment now. He's still under the basket right now.
Everything is everybody, has been saying the coaching deficiencies. You taking that away and blaming it solely on the players instead of them having the same a different game plan.
Oh, come on. So what?
Don't blame the players.
Yeah, don't blame the players.
Don't blame the players, because if you blame the players, you get fired.
So who decided when they got to overtime? When they got to overtime, the first 2 plays of the overtime, who decided to run those plays?
Who decided to take Shannon out this game? Right here.
Wait, stop, guys.
It was Brunson dribbling the ball for 16 seconds, and then passing it to Hart. And then passing it to Hart, who can't shoot. I love him. He can't shoot to save his life.
Just say pause when you're done.
Yeah, but
y'all remember how the Knicks actually lost that game, right? I told y'all last night. The catcher put down a 2 for curveball. and dumbass
yeah,
Carl
yeah,
Anthony
yeah,
Towns
yeah.
threw a
That
fastball
that was
to
that
Mikel Bridges
that
6 feet away from
Yeah,
him.
but
that was
Again,
before we
there
got to
goes
that
that
problem.
basketball
before we
IQ
got
of
to that
fucking Egg
point,
McMuffin.
before we
Right
got to
next
that
to him, he
point,
throws a fastball, hits him
what
in
I'm
his
saying,
head.
before we
Okay.
got to that point,
That was the
before
game.
we
That's
got to
how
that
they
point,
lost the game.
Brunson turned the ball over the first two possessions
They had a chance,
and he
but
took a
Towns
bad
put the
shot.
ball in his hand.
He
Okay.
turned the ball over the first two times and then he took a bad
And they
shot.
still had a
He's
chance to
called-
win the
Two
game.
bad
calling
shots.
Can I
those plays.
interject?
Yes,
I like
Reggie.
to interject.
Please, Reggie. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Reggie,
The other
interject.
night, Boston lost by 20 to who?
Who was it?
A garbage team.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot who it was, but they
Orlando.
got waxed.
Was it Orlando?
They not garbage. They not.
No,
According
Orlando
to
always
y'all,
gives
I think they scored the fewest points they scored all
Orlando
season.
Orlando
Was it
always gives them the
76?
business. Orlando always gives them the business because they're tall, they can guard. They got
Right.
somebody who can guard Jason
Right.
Tatum.
like the Knicks.
Like they got somebody who can guard Jason Tatum. Paulo Banchero is like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Who-
He can guard Jason Tatum.
Who's that coach? Who's the coach of that team?
What's
What's
his
his?
name?
He's a former assistant.
Jamal Mosley.
Yeah, he's been the coach for a few years. I think 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But he was a no name. He was a no name that came up and
But he
boom,
came up
there you
in
go.
that system. So
He came
was
up in the
kinda-
NBA. He came up in the NBA.
Right, but just like the guy with the Celtics, he was the assistant coach when Oki, whatever his name is,
Udoka.
Right.
yeah, Duke
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
doing his extracurricular stuff, so they knew who this guy was. But then again, a guy like Adoki, how you say his name,
Ime Udoka.
he went to Houston and still sold Houston on what he can do, just like Tom Thibodeau came to the Knicks and did the Knicks just like he did the Bulls. He made them competitive. He made them defensive oriented. Then, let me finish, guys. Then the Knicks front office said, just like they did after that 54-game season, we're going to go get us some offense. But not knowing with that offense came two of the worst defensive players in NBA history in Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. I say this all the time. Guys blame the coach, blame the hot dog vendor, blame Spike Lee. It's embarrassing to me as a Knicks fan when you got your two best players on the fucking bench because they can't be in for defensive purposes. That's embarrassing, guys. I say that shit all the time. Blame the coach for that.
That's not a reflection on the coach. That's not a reflection.
No,
on
it
the
ain't.
coach. You can't get your
It's
main
a
play.
good thing.
100%.
You can't get your
Because
main
the coach is
players.
smart enough to know.
100% not.
You can't
Get
get
him
your
out of
main
there.
players. You can't get your main players to buy into.
No, sometimes you can't.
They're not capable. It's not a matter of buying into it. They're not capable.
You know what defense is? You know what defense is?
Jalen
You know what defense is? Defense is effort. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
And they don't
Defense
give
is
the
effort.
effort.
They don't do it.
Nobody's mistaking Jalen Brunson from Michael Cooper. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. I say this all the time, Steve. I say this all the time. There is a reason. There is a reason. I'll tell you all this again for the 100th time. There is a reason the Minnesota Timberwolves bankrolled the next 5 years of their franchise to bring in Rudy Gobert. There's a reason they did that. Because Karl Anthony Towns cannot play defense. He cannot play center. God bless him that he played almost a whole year as a Knick at the center position. God bless him. But he don't play as a center. That last game against Boston was a miracle. I actually seen him go down low. Instead of acting like George Gervin or Jerry West.
Time he did that against them.
Yeah,
First,
but
because
again,
he
guys, there
because he
are
couldn't-
times that I've never seen it, guys. I'm just being honest. I've never seen a team
So,
take their two best players out the
who-
game for
So who
defensive
was it that
purposes.
put him in the post? Was it himself or was it Tibbs?
It might have been Tibbs because you know what? When
It was
Tibbs
Tibbs. It was
coached
running
in
plays for-
Minnesota,
Yeah.
he played center.
So
And
if he was
ironically,
Tibbs,
his best
why
year
he
in
didn't do it the first 3 times?
They ran offense for him. They ran offense for him.
They ran
And
his
post-
offense. They ran that hop, that
They
shit
ran
he been
offense
doing
for-
all
right.
game this time.
They ran
I mean,
offense for him.
behind the fucking
get-
3 and I'm gonna rush my opposing defensive dude all the way up into the paint.
Well, the game before that.
I said I gotta lay in my plane. All right, Jones, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Brother.
I hope I can come up next time. I gotta
I
jump
hope so,
off, man.
Steve. All good, brother. Good to have you on. I appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Steve. Love you.
All
Watch
right,
this night,
Steve.
y'all.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Yes, sir.
I'll be on the next time. Catch up.
I hope so.
The game that they played, that some dude
Yeah.
named Cato or Queso, and the other big
Yeah,
man,
you talking about Cornette and K. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cornette and Queso.
Mhm.
So they had Karl Anthony Towns on the perimeter,
Mhm.
and the bigs are quick enough to Luke Cornette is quick enough to stand in front of Karl Anthony Towns.
Big enough.
So
Yeah.
it's like okay, so we need to adjust our offensive scheme so that we get, because Cat is strong, he's big, adjust our so he doesn't have to create as much and he can just overpower these guys. So somewhere along
He's
the
not
line,
gonna do
somebody
that,
said,
bro.
well,
No.
last game, he actually did that.
He's
Got 34 points on
He
that.
actually did that. He actually did that.
okay. But how many games did he do that this whole
It
season?
took him
That was the
79
first
games
one.
to do it.
That was it.
That was
First
the
Come
first
on,
one.
you can't wait. You can't wait all season to decide. Oh, I am bigger than these dudes. Come
Right.
on, man.
They
Okay,
ran
so
offensive scheme. They ran
my
offensive
question
schemes.
with that is, who do we blame for that? Am I a $50 million player who's just not listening to the game plan,
Exactly.
right? Or am I an inept coach who can't control his team?
Or can it be live that you have to go with his strength? If his strength is the perimeter and he's not a low post
His strength
player,
is not the perimeter.
right, then you go with whatever. I'm just using that as an example, Red.
Mhm.
You go with
Okay.
what the player's strong points are. Hence the reason I keep telling y'all, but y'all come back with another excuse of why are you taking these guys? You blame the coach for everything, but he makes those key decisions to get these two clowns out the game for defensive purposes because they can't guard nobody. That's a coach's decision. Now, when you're out there trying to guard somebody and you simply can't, come on, guys. Like I always say, if you look at that play that Jason Tatum tied the game up, Anunoby was semi in his pocket, but he did the shake, the bait, dropped in, stepped back, and he traveled. If you watch the play again in slow motion, Jason Tatum actually traveled. But again, it's the NBA. He freed himself. He took 3 steps to get back. He hits the 3, tie game. Who do you blame for that? One, it was a good shot against one of our better defensive players.
Yeah, no, that's the
And
player.
the guy hits the shot. I mean,
Yeah, but
what are you going to do? You're going to blame the coach? You're going to
focus
blame
on-
Spike Lee? I mean,
You only
it is
focus
what
on
it is.
one. You focus
Y'all
on one
keep
play.
bringing up what he don't do.
That's
How come I never hear y'all talk about the good things of winning 50 games?
Yeah, but you
Dom, that's
focus on one
self-explanatory.
play.
You're not going to blame the coach.
You focus on one
That's
play.
a physical play.
No,
You're
I'm
not,
just saying, y'all focus on the losses, but I never hear y'all talk about the 50 wins. So I
Well,
guess
during the
coach
wins,
had nothing to do
stop.
with the 50
During the
wins,
wins,
just the 30
I
during
don't,
the
I
losses.
don't talk about the 50 wins because
You
of
know
the,
what I mean, guys. Come on.
I got you. No doubt. No
I'm saying,
doubt.
I never hear y'all say that. Only the
But I'm
losses.
the
saying,
wins, I
you know what I'm
keep
saying, in
saying-
that same motion, we dismissing his inability to adjust in the game. Or at least the inability of the whole team, because we're not blaming the coach. That's what you're talking about, right? The inability of the team.
How many narratives have we beat up this year, guys?
during the
He don't
wins,
play the kids.
Dom,
He don't play the bench.
How many points did Tatum have that night?
He don't play the bench when we didn't have a bench, but then when we got our players back, he was running 8-9 players out there. So we let that go because now we can't defend what we were saying when we didn't have the players. I
You're
get it,
confusing
guys.
the
I
facts
do.
with the issues. You're confusing the facts with the issues.
No, I'm not.
dude.
These are facts.
I
Everybody complained
criticized
we didn't
even
play.
when they were winning. I said, "Hey, we can't win games.
We didn't
with
have the
Jalen
players,
Brunson taking
guys.
26 shots. We're
We
not going to win.
didn't have the
games.
players. I mean,
We're not
I
gonna win
agree with you
games.
on that, Bishop. I always said that. I do not think Jalen Brunson should be shooting. That mean me and you agree on
Right.
that.
Same
I do.
here.
But then again, when you look at it, come on, guys, we're all Knicks fans. When you look at it, you take away Towns and Brunson. Who you give? Who's taking the shots, guys? Anunoby,
got
maybe?
Bridges, you got
No.
Anunoby, you got Bridges, you got
He's not
Anunoby.
built for that. He never was,
Bridges was
Bishop.
how much
He
was
never
Bridges
was.
averaging when he was in with the Nets? How much
Because he
was
was
he
the
averaging?
only player on the net.
The nuts are crap. The nuts
So
are
he's
garbage.
capable. So
Right,
he's
we can't
capable.
compare
Bridges was
that.
always either number 2 or number 3.
But I'm saying he's
always been a
capable
3
of
or a
giving you
4.
15 to 20
But
points
But
a
like
game.
Bishop just said, he was capable of getting
He's
that
capable.
20 point.
No,
Exactly.
but what I'm saying,
capable.
guys,
He's
is
on the Nets though.
on any
But you got to give him the
team,
ball.
on
You got to
any
give him the
team,
shot
guys.
opportunities.
Hold on,
Right,
hold on,
but
wait a second. So when Bridges was on Phoenix before they all traded for Durant, he was a number 4 option. Number 4,
No, he was the fourth option.
Yes.
the fourth option.
Right.
Yes.
He went to the Nets, became the 1 option because they didn't have nobody else on the team.
Correct.
Right.
What I'm trying to say, guys, it's not just the Knicks. Every team. Luka, LeBron, they're going to take the most shots. Greek Freak, Lillard, most shots. Whoever you name, guys, there's going to be the 2 guys on your team that are going to take the bulk of the shot. The other guys are going to be fill-ins. I honestly, guys, I would prefer, I hate to say this, but he's a point guard. I would prefer to see Anunoby taking more shots than Brunson, honestly, because you're a point guard. If you're taking 22, 25 shots as a point guard, that means Anunoby ain't going to get 16, 15 shots.
I'm not mad
Guys,
at
there's
that.
only an average of 80
Not mad
shots
at
per
that.
game. Think about that. There's an average of 80 shots per game. If 2 of your guys are getting 50, that means there's 30 shots disseminated with not only the rest of the starting 5, but the 3-4 guys coming off the bench.
Right.
Think about that, guys. When you talk about numbers, there's only but so many shots you're going to get.
Right.
And your 2 number 1 guys are getting, on average, 50 to 55 shots a game. That's crazy, man. Serious. And one of them is your point guard.
Which is
really
insane.
Come on, guys. Stop. But again,
Can I ask a question?
Please.
I don't have a problem with Brunson, but if you look at that Brunson, there's no traditional point guards left in the league. Outside of and he's not.
True.
I mean, Trae Young is not a traditional point guard, but he has a whole bunch of assists. But there's no one out there like Chris Paul. There's no one out there like Isaiah Thomas. There's no one out there like those guys. All these dudes are scorers.
You got Halliburton.
He scores too.
But I'm talking about
Spots ain't averaging like 9-10 assists a game. Halliburton,
Did anybody catch that game tonight?
When you look at the roster, but I'm saying
Halliburton doing like 12 again, right?
When you look at the roster of the Knicks,
Halliburton, yeah.
I'm looking up while we talk.
When you look at the roster of the Knicks, to me, the starting 5, everybody should be getting 10 to 15 shots a game, and with the efficiency of the 10 to 15 shots a game, you still get your
9.2 live.
All right.
You still get your 100 and whatever points from the starting 5, and then you bring in the 3 guys off the bench, and they give you their 5 to 25 points a game, 3 guys or 4 guys off the bench, and now you're gonna beat most teams on any given night because you average in 115 to 125 points. You're gonna beat most teams. Most teams, you're gonna beat them each night, averaging that. But
it's not going to happen that way.
It's not going to happen. That's not how the Knicks are built.
The reason why it's not going to happen that way
for them
is because Carl
to be
Anthony Towns is going to pick up 2 stupid ass fouls within the first 5 minutes of the game, and then who coming in?
3 minutes.
But
3
like
minutes,
I also
who's coming in after Towns goes out?
Right, Mitch.
Mitch. So whose shots is going up once Towns go out?
So you still got
should be Bridges.
First of all, Hart shouldn't be in the starting lineup. That's number one.
No.
Hart shouldn't be in the starting lineup.
Can I get like a hot take?
Go right ahead.
Hot take. Trade this motherfucker Hart, B. Get him out of here. Get him out. Get him out of here.
Whoa.
I think he can be better coming off the bench.
I agree with you. But see, again, here we go, right? With Thibodeau, right? That's not going to be enough, right? Him not starting, it's still not going to be enough, B.
He was never a starter, though, live. He was never a starter until we got hurt.
And what I'm saying is I'm good with you not starting him, right? But with Tibbs, that's not going to be enough. He's still going to do 40 a game off the bench.
But at least you can say this live. If he comes off the bench.
As long as we got this makeup, we still going to have non-shooting ass on the court when we need spacing.
But coming off the bench live, he can fill 2 or 3 different roles coming off the bench. Where we got this guy playing small forward. That's insane, guys.
So he got to play power forward too.
He got hard. Yeah, exactly. He got hard. He's a tough-nosed kid. But that was the downside of Minnesota up in the ante on the Julius Randle trade. The trade was not going to go through if the Knicks did not add DiVincenzo. If the Knicks have DiVincenzo right now, Bridges is playing the 3, DiVincenzo's playing the 2, Hart's coming off the bench, just like he's done his whole career.
Yeah.
He's come off the bench everywhere he's been in his 3 different teams. He was a bench player, a good role player, hell of a rebounder. But if the Knicks didn't get punked into giving up Dante DiVincenzo, this kid ain't starting, man. He's not a starter.
Right. No,
Our chances were much better.
But again, when I'm talking about Thibodeau, talking about things like that. Like you keep placing this dude in positions that he will not succeed in. You understand what I'm saying?
That's the scary thing, like he actually has, whether we like it or not. The guy's averaging about 12 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. So when you look at his numbers, you gotta say to yourself,
he could do that same thing off the bench.
That's what I was getting ready to say that, Bishop. He was doing that. Y'all remember, guys, come on, we're not that old or senile. We saw how this played out last year before everybody on our team got hurt.
Right.
Without Mikal Bridges, after we got Anunoby, you saw how this played out, right? DiVincenzo was starting. Again, everybody got their panties when Quentin Grimes got the keys taken from him, but we gave him the keys. He just couldn't start the car. So now here comes Dante DiVincenzo that make Grimes look very suspect and very tradable. But we saw this, guys, until the wheels came off last year with all the injuries. Hence the reason Hart jumped into the starting lineup. Now you fast forward live. And again, I hate to say it, I like Leon Rose. He hasn't blown many deals, but he got punked in this one.
He got
punked. We're not going to go with this trade if you don't add DiVincenzo. If the Knicks don't add DiVincenzo, guys, this team looks a little different. One, the floor is open now because you got a guy like DiVincenzo that can knock down shots. Now it don't look as batshit crazy if Karl Anthony Towns is taking 3-pointers because we're still spreading the floor. And we got Anunoby who's getting in that groove. So we would have been a whole different, and again, to all of our points, Hart is coming off the bench, which he would still give us what I just mentioned, but coming off the bench. Now imagine that. Him scoring 10, 12, and DiVincenzo scoring 15. That's 27 points from one position.
Right.
Right now, we're getting 100 points from our starting 5, and on average, 16 from our whole bench, because we're averaging 116 points a night. So we're getting 100 from our starters and 16 from our bench. And in all actuality, guys, that's not too bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. It could be better, but it's not that bad because guess what? 116 points is like X-Files type shit for the Knicks because we never scored that many points. We were always low in points. We were always low in pace. We was always low on points per possession, the whole 9 yards. We at least did that. So, again, and 50 wins, you know, you gotta say, can it be better? Of course, anything can be better. But considering where we are, where we came from, this team been together 70-something games. You gotta. I just think, guys, honestly, if the Knicks couldn't get a 1-for-1 for Randall and Towns, they should have backed up and said, you know what, we're gonna do like the other team. We're gonna run this shit back.
That's what they should have did.
Yep, we're gonna run this back.
That's what they should have did.
That wouldn't have worked because
I'm just saying instead of getting punked, Bishop, I would have said we're gonna run this back.
Randall wouldn't accept.
I agree with the run back. But
I'm saying Randall wouldn't have accepted the
but just I think he would have. But just think of this for 1 second, Bishop. I don't mean to cut you off, but think of this. Let's say Randall goes down to 19, 20 points a game, but you still got DiVincenzo giving you 15, 16. That's still 36 points. That's still more points than Karl Anthony Towns was giving us.
But you wouldn't have got Randall. So Randall, what he was doing before they got rid of him was when he wasn't getting the ball, he wasn't getting back on D. When he didn't get a call, he didn't get back on D. He was stagnating.
Right, they do it.
But I'm saying he was stagnating. He was stagnating the game and impacting the game by pouting on the court.
Put it this way, Bishop.
And not so it's like, yo, dude, we wouldn't be in this position.
We gave up 2 perennial starters.
Yes.
And guess what? When you look at it, we're only a +4 over Minnesota right now.
Yeah. And we needed what we truly needed is we needed that 6'7" guy to put next to Brunson, or we need if we put Bridges next to Brunson to guard, you know, the guards, the scoring guards, and kind of like try to hide Brunson, then we would need somebody at that 3 spot and not Hart We would need somebody at that 3 spot that could be a 3 and D guy, or that could be like that utility guy that hits 3-pointers and that can guard 1 through 4.
That was their plan, Bishop. When they got Anunoby, and Bridges, just me as an outsider looking in.
Yeah.
When they got Anunoby and Bridges, I'm thinking that's the Knicks version of Kryptonite versus Tatum and Brown. Right. We saw what happened game 1. Remember game 1 of the season?
Well,
both of them got torched.
They got blasted.
Let me ask you a question, because Reggie, I think you had said this to me in the group at one time about DeJounte Murray.
Yes, I did. 100% I said it.
You know,
but he got
hurt. As a 2 guard?
No, as a 1.
Yeah.
Better defense.
I think that ship has sailed. Yeah, I agree with you, Reggie. Don't get me wrong. But I think that ship has sailed. I think once the Knicks put their eggs in Brunson's basket, we should have did a little better with the eggs that went in the basket. Again, guys, I'm not going to beat this one to death.
No,
that
100%.
That DiVincenzo shit set us back, guys. I'm just again, it depends on how things work out tonight. We're only a +4 in wins over Minnesota, and guess what? Randall was hurt in the beginning of the year. DiVincenzo was hurt in the beginning of the year. Rudy Gobert was hurt in the beginning of the year. Yeah. And we're only 3 wins better than them.
Yeah,
and
they last 20 games or something. They've been.
Yeah, I mean,
Anthony Edwards has finally got. Anthony Edwards has just been putting the team on his back.
Randall been playing better too,
and Randall
just going for it, just going for it. So you got one guy who's like putting all of this gravity, like everybody's focusing on him, and then these guys are being able to eat. Randall and DiVincenzo being able to eat because Edwards is being double teamed and in some instances triple teamed. So they getting it together. But again, the way that we constructed, it's like I love Josh Hart, but I think he would be much more effective coming off the bench. And
concession stand. Put him in the concession
out of town.
He'd be much better coming off the bench because he hustles and he gets those, like coast to coast plays and stuff like that. You're not getting that against starters.
I can't deny what he did for the team, man, but he don't space for shit. He can't. Nobody respects that dude.
He don't got no shot.
Let me ask y'all this. So now with the lineup that it is, how come you don't have Bridges on Brown and OG on Tatum?
Why we got to hide Brunson?
What? No. Okay, why are we putting Hart on Tatum? Is my question.
Then you got a height differential.
Yeah, because
again, Reggie,
I know. I'm asking why is it instead of Bridges?
Because the coach does not want to think outside of the box and make adjustments.
I think that's a natural matchup in my opinion.
It's like because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to.
You hide him, Brunson, because he can't check nobody. Think about one game, guys. 2 games in a row. Mikal Bridges ran down a point guard, blocked his shot to seal a win for the Knicks. The next game, he blocks a 7-footer from shooting a layup to win a game. Here's your number 2 guy. He's your 2 guard. He's running down point guards and blocking center shots. Why? Because our center don't play no defense. That was the guy down low with the layup. He runs down a point guard who Jalen Brunson could never run down. Again, when it's hard, guys, when you gotta hide 2 people. Normally you have to hide 1. But when you gotta hide 2 guys and you're starting 5, that ain't a good recipe for success, fellas. I'm just saying. No knock against them. I'm just saying they've never been those guys.
What are we doing in the offseason about that?
You're right. You're right, Live. I'm telling you.
Because we keep on talking about that Giannis.
I ain't buying
that Giannis for cat straight up, me.
I ain't buying none of these rules. You know what? I don't think I do that because I'm like Bishop with this one. I'm not sold on Giannis. Guy can't hit a foul shot. He can't shoot from more than 12 feet out.
But he won 2 MVPs, right?
Yeah, but he won 2 MVPs. Yeah. Now that is a leg to stand on. we ain't comparing him to Joker, not one bit. I hope.
Defense.
But I've never been sold on him, guys. He can't shoot foul shots. He has no perimeter game. And guess what? When they build that wall, he's what? Well, now at least he got Damian Lillard to throw it out to if he ever comes back from the blood clots. But I ain't sold on him live. I ain't putting no eggs in his basket. Nah.
Cat ain't necessarily killing it either.
I'm agreeing, Reggie.
Cat is not necessarily killing it either.
Right. I just don't want.
Yeah, we saw what he did in the playoffs last year.
Cat can score. Cat can score on many different levels. So,
and he can pass.
You don't like
when
can't do it in the playoffs though.
When?
What?
Well,
this is the last time Cat dropped 50 points in a game 7.
But I'm saying Cat
in an elimination game. Never.
Cat can score from the perimeter. Cat can hit a 10 to 15 footer.
Please.
He can hit a 3
in the regular season, he can do that. He can't do it in the playoffs.
He can put the ball.
He's Aaron Judge, bro.
But I'm saying he can
wow.
Oh, wow.
I said it.
Wow.
I said it.
Oh, Reggie.
I said it.
Wow.
That is blasphemous.
Look at Ab.
It's blasphemous, but it's true.
I ain't gonna go that far. I mean,
Wow.
Is it true? Is it true?
So far, I would say it's pretty close, Reggie.
Prove me wrong.
Honestly,
Prove me wrong.
I think last season in the playoffs, when Minnesota played Denver, Cat was real important in them beating Denver because Joker had to guard Cat. Joker had to guard what's the other cat that's still there now? The forward with the dreads.
Reed.
Yeah, Reed.
He had to guard Nas Reed. He constantly had to guard somebody. So it was kind of like Cat. He was effective. The stupid fouls, it's like, he's always going to do that because it's just in his DNA. I'm going to run out past the 3-point line and slap the guy on the arm right in front of the referee and then put both my hands up when they call a foul. And I'm going to do the same thing 3 times in a row.
Here's what's spooky to Reggie's theory. You know me and numbers are. Karl Anthony Towns last year in the playoffs, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 4 fouls per game.
Yeah.
So
what was his regular season average?
Hold on, Reg. 21 points, 8.5 rebounds. That motherfucker's a turnover machine, man.
Well,
3 turnovers.
Right.
And 3.5 fouls. That's spooky. To where it was Ronan or somebody that said, the first 2 minutes of the game, this guy's got 2 fouls. Now that I look at it, y'all were right. Shit, he can't stay on the floor, man.
I'm gonna claim that one. I think I said that.
Yeah, you probably said it, right? Yeah, this guy's averaging 3.5 fouls a game. You only get 6
in 2 minutes.
Let me see how many. And guess what, guys? What did I say? Last year's playoff 3.3. Last year's season. Guess how many fouls he's averaging this year on the Knicks?
5.
3.5. So he went up 0.2. But you know what? You see it too, guys. You see, like Reggie said, you see these stupid fouls. Again, going back to individual tasks.
He had 3 by the second quarter.
Yeah. Again, we go back to individual tasks. Basketball IQ of an Egg McMuffin. This is why I say this. And then you know what really is annoying? He'll argue on his way down court.
Yes.
Like what is that doing, man? Is that stopping the game because you felt like you got really?
So
it's not like they're gonna argue the foul and they're gonna say, you know what, you didn't foul him, Cat. We're gonna take it back.
Fred.
I mean, in that way, he's following Randall. So
you're not a good defensive player to begin with, but now you're lacking on getting back. So now that's two strikes against your dumb ass. I don't know, guys.
I think if he in this year, because it's going to be a different focus. The offense is focused a little bit differently, so his scoring average may go up a bit. I'm not gonna dispute the foul stuff because I've seen exactly what you're talking about. So I'm not gonna dispute that at all because I've seen him put 2 hands behind on the back of a 6'2" guard as a 7-footer and shove them for the rebound instead of just getting in front of the guy
and getting the damn rebound.
Getting in front of the guy and just grabbing the rebound. He takes both hands, puts them in the back of the 6'2" guy, shoves him out of bounds, gets the rebound, and then standing there
Instead of putting his arms up and grabbing the rebound.
right,
Crazy.
standing there with a stupid look on his face when they call the foul.
Mhm.
Hey guys, I gotta head out. Thank you for having out.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Brother, thank you for joining us.
Sorry, Al. I'm
All
sorry.
good, bro.
No
We're
worries.
sorry we corrupted you, Av.
That's all good, bro. You know what?
I know that Aaron Judge kind of hurt, but
Shut up, Reggie.
It stung a little bit.
Shut up, Reggie.
okay, you're right.
We got
I'll
him tonight. He didn't even light up a cigarette tonight.
I will see you
Yeah,
guys.
he did.
I know.
He
Av
did.
did good, man. Oh,
Yeah.
my
He
bad.
He
got-
did. He did.
Yo, Av,
I saw him.
I had to
Av,
bring y'all.
I'll-
I had to bring y'all upstairs. It was raining outside. Shit.
Yo, Av, I'll see you on the next Blue, bro.
All right, bro.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
I gotta go to the boatyard in Charlotte tomorrow. I mean Charleston.
All right, my brothers. I'm gonna have to end this thread today.
I made it to 14%. Yay!
Made it through, huh? That's good.
14%.
So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Obviously, Av, Steve, Ronan, the Bishop, Reggie, of course, Dom, and myself, and all the others that might have tuned in or might not have tuned in. Doesn't matter. We on here anyway. It's the platform to be on. And thank you guys very much. And we'll see you, God willing, next Thursday. So with that being
Next
said,
Thursday. Yes, sir.
R. Jones signing out. Blessings to you guys. Thanks a lot. Take care.
All right, fellas. Do that.